Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight.
Yeah, I said it me. This is Rock Nation. Pledge of allegiance.
We gonna run this town.
24 hours here, starting at 1 o'clock this weekend.
5.3 kilometres, getting in for just over 3.5 miles.
Now, we have a massive crowd here.
Biggest grids in GT3 and Porsche 992 Cup that we've ever seen. Historic numbers of cars. As the intensity is ramping up. As the green flag is in the air, and the Porsche straight away tries to get a gap. It's a long run over the top of the brow and down towards the first corner. Behind the blue racing and right Kennedy. On challenge. Side by side through the first corner. Audacious manoeuvre. This is going to be a bit closer. It's only 16 seconds as he goes on to his last lap now.
Between their brand new machine, the M4 GT3 Evo.
Congratulations, you've got the car home, you've won the Dubai 24 hours.
As soon as the sun goes down. Yes, thank you very much, Das Pit Machine. Let's talk about this qualifying. We've seen the aggregated qualifying before in the past. It's very similar to what we've seen in the past. 3 drivers will take to the track. Actually, there's a couple of cars that only have 2, so somebody's going to get double dipping on that. They will each set a time, and then that aggregate time, that average time, will set the grid position within each of the classes. The big difference, we tried this at Malaysia, and it was really interesting. Remember, in the past, it has been the same set of tyres for each of the drivers. So the person that gets in last, normally the most experienced or one of the pro drivers in the car, would then have to do his best with tyres that had already been out on the circuit for up to half an hour. That's changed for 2026, and what we have now is a brand new set of Michelin racing slicks for each of the drivers. Little wrinkle on that as well, because those tyres are not going to do a lot of work, but they will have to be used again during the race. So each of those 3 sets of tyres we'll see again in the race, which is tomorrow. And here are the Michelin slicks. We are using the fabulous Cup GT H2s. This is a customer tyre from Michelin, Pilot Sport, and amazing that they managed to get this to work equally as well on the vast array of cars that we have here. And we're starting, as the boys in the booth rightly said, with a very healthy GT4 TCE and TCX grid, and we welcome the Toyota GR Supra. This is the Japanese manufacturer's 2-door coupe. This is the Circuit Toys 444 bright yellow car that I'm standing right next to. All of these GT4 Supras are built at the WRT facility, Vincent Voss's team, right opposite Liège Airport. And there's a good old name in there because Will Powell is back racing. Will and I go back a long way, and they're all finding their feet in this car. So now you know what's going to happen. We'll have 3 sets of 3 qualifying runs for each of the different classifications of cars, and then at the end of it we'll crown our pole sitters. The little Alpine, the red, white and black Alpine, just heading to the end of the pit lane. The unique part of Yas Marina is the pit lane goes out under the track, under the tunnel. And yes, we've got a set of traffic lights just in case there's a problem underneath the tunnel, and we can stop people from getting ensconced in. 3 minutes are on the clock for this first one, gentlemen, and we're ready to go with the biggest ever field in Yas Marina racing history in any category that has been an international motor race. Impressive stuff, history being made here, and pole positions to be earned.
Thank you very much, John. He's going to be busy down there in the pit lane as the cars are out on the circuit for this first 15-minute session. In the first session, you have to use your AM Plus or AM Spirit driver, and if you don't have any of those, you have to talk to the clerk of the course and work out what you're going to do. If you only have 2 drivers, you can't do consecutive sessions. You can't do session 1 and 2. You have to do session 1 and 3. So it keeps it all nice and level, all nice and even. We're going to talk about track limits as well. We have 3 areas where track limits are going to be in place, and there's turn 1, turn 3 and turn 16. Now turn 16 you will lose the lap that you're on plus the next lap as well, because that is the final corner on this Yas Marina circuit, as we're keeping an eye on the Vortex, the GTX car out there on the circuit at the moment, heading down into turn number 6 at the first part of the long 2 back straights here at the Yas Marina circuit, and heading around now past the support paddock. Beautiful looking car, this one. We first saw this in Kuwait as they went from their Vortex 1.0 to Vortex 2.0. Nick, your thoughts on this car?
Well, they've come out with a slightly revised scheme, of course. This has been the bright orange scourge of the field for the last 5 or 6 years in its various forms, and now it's kind of going a little bit more bronzy, and with this kind of spider's web design as well. So it's gained a little bit of a makeover. It's had a little bit of a 60-minute makeover, but yeah, I mean, it is the current reigning winner of the leader in the Middle East Trophy, because it was the only GTX that, of course, ever won the Malaysian race. Lionel Amarouche, who's been in this car, I think, for the last 7 years, when it's been around. His daughter, I believe, is in the 992 class, Shalane. She'll be out next for the next set of 3 qualifying as he goes across to complete a lap. This is going to be the first actual timed lap, I think, coming through, and it's a 2 minutes .6. So we have no idea that's fast or slow because none of the GTX has set a lap. So yeah, so we've got three classes out here. We've got a 4-car field for GT4s, a Porsche, Toyota, BMW and Audi, so a good split there. With a Vortex, a Lamborghini and a Ginetta in GTX, and goodness only knows how they've managed to balance those three, Phil. And in the TCE, we have a 6-car field, which is a Seat, a Cupra, which they were the same, but just a Seat's older than the Cupra, a Volkswagen, a Porsche, a Ginetta and an Alpine. So at no point of these three classes do we have a repeat of a car.
No, so all individual cars.
All individual chassis, yeah.
All individual chassis. As you can see, the Lamborghini there going past the Seat. Well, the Seat being the oldest car on the circuit, as Adrian Lewandowski goes through in the 764, and the Lamborghini sets the fastest time for GTX, a 1:55.823. Now, the guys in the full GT3s this morning were doing 1:51, so that's not too far off that. Yeah, a very quick car. Beautiful paint job on that. Yeah, that was stunning.
The GTX Hurricanes, obviously, we've tended to have these in Creventic quite a bit. They are very, very quick in a straight line.
Yeah.
They are a lot less downforce than a GT3, but on the same situation, a lot less drag as well. So the cars are quick in a straight line, not so fast around the corners, but quite hairy to drive. I mean, I think at some point we had 4 or 5 of them at one point. I think it depends where they were with the Lamborghini Trofeo and its various ups and downs, where there were spare cars knocking about.
Yeah, sort of a GT2 type spec. It's done on power to weight ratio for GTX. Doesn't quite fall into GT3 power to weight ratio. And just like the 992 categories, incredibly quick in a straight line, but lacking the downforce in the corners. But stunning looking piece of machinery as it comes around underneath the W Hotel Bridge. Turn 8, that is, and he heads up towards the new, well, from 2021 onwards, the Parabolica at the end. Slightly banked, but that removed 4 corners from the circuit. So we were 21 corners, we're down to 16 now, much more flowing. And now into the technical part. Three right-handers on the road and a hard braking zone into turn 12 alongside the W Hotel Marina in the background. Beautiful.
Underneath the whale of a hotel.
Yes, indeed.
So this is the second of the GTX. The third GTX is actually on its outlap, and that's Michael Simpson in the Ginetta. It's the Ginetta G56 GT2. So it'll be interesting to see where they are on pace overall. It's Leonardo Amorous who completed the second lap, and he's still best part of 4 seconds off Lewandowski here in the Lamborghini. I mean, yeah, that's pretty just indicative of the pure pace of the Lamborghini. The one thing you have to say is neither the Lamborghini, in fairness, nor the Vortex are particularly renowned for their reliability.
Yes,
but only got to do 6 hours this time.
Exactly. So Pia Olsen at the wheel of the 101 Asbest Racing. She's in 2 of the Asbest cars. She's in the one scheduled to drive the 102. I think it's the 102 as well. In the yeah, she's down to do both. So she can do a maximum of 4 hours out of the 6 that are available. So new drive times for this event: 2.5 hour maximum drive time in the race, and up from 2 hours. So that's a new change for 2026. And yeah, so we've gone away from the minimum break time and all of that sort of schmozzle. Now it's very, very easy. You can do 4 hours in 6, and then you have to have at least a 2 hour break.
Well, there's 4 Asbest Racing entries
yes.
In the TCX class. They are 2/3 of the entries, but interesting, they are also in different cars. So yes. They have a Seat Cupra, which is similar, but a couple of years difference in age, and a Volkswagen TCR, which of course is again quite similar to the Cupra and the Seat, all built on the same line in Spain, but many years ago now. And then completely out on the edge, they've got a Porsche 718 Cayman as well. So they've kind of mix and match their entries throughout this class. And there's a bit of an overlap on some of the drivers. It's almost like Asbest Racing are the repository for cars that have nowhere else to go.
Exactly, and that's why Creventic Racing is so good. You put a car in there, they'll find a class for it. Michael Simpson doing some very quick lap times, sector times at the moment, and goes to the top in the Team CMR Ginetta. As I said that correctly this time. 1:54.306. That is a quick time, and that very nice car, V8 powered. As
Cherney Motorsports, I think. Is it Cherney or Cerny Motor? We say Cerny or Cherney. I think it depends where you are in the Northern Hemisphere, is how you pronounce that. It's a BMW. Cherney. Florian Sternkopf for the BMW.
we've still got a couple of cars in the pits. The 103 went out and did 2 laps and it back into the pits. That is the Asbest race car, and it didn't get a driver name on that, so maybe a problem with the driver ID there that they have to have operating. And we haven't seen the 451, the Audi from Primus Racing, has not come out as yet. So maybe have a look at where that car is.
Yeah, I mean, but just as a point, Cherney won in Malaysia, so they are currently, it's 2 from 3 for the Middle East Trophy, which is the Malaysian race we had, of course, in the end of the first week of December. This race, and then next week, Dubai 24 hours. You get your best 2 scores out of 3, so you've already banked to win. You are ahead of the pack. I mean, in fairness, there may be a couple of cars who don't come out. We have had quite a few red flags during the various test days and the official practices early this afternoon, but we didn't really see any cars that looked particularly flat-bedded when myself and Joseph walked down the pit lane, so we weren't seeing a huge amount of work. But obviously some have had an issue in the last half hour, or have decided, in many ways, of course, how important is it to qualify? They might think, we'll save the tyres, we'll save the engine, everything else, and not bother at this point.
Well, indeed. Well, I was just looking at the Primus Racing lineup, and they're from Sweden. Peter Larsen, Johan Rossen, and Tommy Lindroth driving that car. We've already had 2 track limits infringements with laps being deleted. Car 445 and 427, both running in the GT4 car class, have fallen foul of the scrutineers as the Ginetta 795 makes its way back into pit lane. We only have around about 3.5 minutes to go in this first of 3 sessions for the TCE GT4 and GTX classes, and it's Michael Simpson in the Ginetta on top from the Lamborghini, driven by Adrian Lewandowski, and Lionel Amarouche in the Vortex V8 in 3rd position as it stands. Remember, the times will be amalgamated. It's the 3 quickest times from the 3 drivers, and they put them together, divide by 3, and that is your qualifying time.
Well, Michael Simpson's the first driver we've seen do the minimum number of laps with the maximum amount of effect. He's done an in, a fast, and an out, so officially his tyres are 2 laps out. They've actually gone around 3 times. He's set the fastest time in the GTX class, only by a second now, actually only by 9/10 of a second from the Lamborghini, and it's in a further 3.2 seconds back to Lionel Amarouche in the Vortex. But that means that the advantage of this, of course, is the less laps you do during qualifying, because you have to use these tyres during the race, the fresher they are. Now, I know from the team that were with the Malaysian race said that it was quite a big drop-off after a couple of laps. John, I believe, is hanging around Team CMR.
I am indeed, just to coin a phrase. This is, to me, one of the best-looking cars in the field, because it's all carbon fibre with a bit of Ginetta orange on it. This is the 795 CMR that we're talking about, resplendent with its extra driving lights on. It's the newer front end of the Ginetta. Michael Simpson is out of the car. I'm going to try and grab him in just a second. The car's up on its hydraulic jacks, and the Michelin tyres that have done those 3 laps have already been removed, so they're saving themselves some time to get ready for a new set of Michelins to go on. Let's see if I can grab Michael for a quick word. Well done, fella. Welcome back. Happy New Year, I suppose I can say to you. Did you have a good Christmas?
I did, actually, yeah. 2 weeks off. Very like Ginetta world, but it was well received. It was, yeah.
New regulations with the tyres. Those tyres that you've just used won't be getting used again with your teammates here, but you will have to use them tomorrow. So was the plan always to put as little mileage on them as possible, Michael?
That's right, yeah. No, it's an endurance race, so look after the car, look after the tyres. She's running great. It's the new GT2, so it's an evolution of the car we won a couple of years ago with in Dubai.
What's the big differences?
Engine. So engine, it's a GT4 build of 6.2 V8, but supercharged. So it's got plenty of grunt.
Adequate power.
Adequate power, and then a full sort of redesign of the aero, so it's got a lot more aero, a bit less drag. It's got a nice skinny front nose, so it's a car with a lot of capability that we can wind back. So I mean, we're barely running, I think, under 0.3 bar of boost on this, and back at Ginetta we've been running up to 0.7, way over 800 horsepower. So it's a capable machine and something that we can have fun with on track days and things like that if you crank it up.
There's something about a supercharged car as opposed to a turbocharged car. Supercharged, you're driven all the time, if you didn't know, driven off the engine. And there's when you get them wound up, particularly when it's a V8, it has a visceral, almost an animalistic noise.
It does, and for me, it's easier to drive than a turbo. You feel, even though it's supercharged, it's there with you on a throttle. It's very linear. And, Clive and the engineering team's done a good job, and it's exactly what we need. I mean, that's our platform of engine we use across GT4 and many other models. And but it's got the grunt it needs now. So tomorrow in the race, it'll be fun to see. But GT3s will struggle past us on the straight. But that's what GTX is about. It's for cool-looking cars like the GT2 era. A load of grunt, not quite as much aero as a GT3 in the corners, good on the brakes, bit heavier, but should be fan favourites. That's what it should be.
I think that's the fastest time in GTX. I'm sure you expected that. What's the plan for the rest of the weekend, Michael?
We're just developing the car, so we've got 4 cars going to European GT2 in the summer season. So we need to get past 100 hours worth of development. So Lawrence and Freddie can't make it, and they can't make Dubai next week. They've got some clashes, Freddie with uni and Lawrence with business. So we've got Nico Prost joining us next week. And I don't know whether to do it as 3 drivers or 4. We don't know yet. So. But Stella,
I'm going to have to dust my international C off.
Yeah, I remember having a go. Yeah, please do. But we just want mileage, and it's been really reliable so far, touch wood. And if we have a clean race, I'm pretty sure we'll be on the top step.
And you've got to come back out again, because there's only 2 of you in this, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, back out in the last one. So I'll see where everybody gets to and see if we can do any more, or if we need to. I don't know, but. It's a shame there's not more GTXs here, but the rest of the field's stunning. I mean, the GT3 and the 992 Cups. The Creventic's done an amazing job. I've got to congratulate all of you, because it's where this series has gone in the last few years. It is unbelievable. Especially
drivers' meeting this morning was incredible, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, 60 cars, people from all over the world coming in, and it's the right call to do this first, because then you've got to do Dubai afterwards. So. No, really happy to be here.
6-hour warm-up for a 24-hour race next week, then, eh?
That's it, exactly, yeah.
Cheers, Michael. Great to see the Ginetta in its newest form back with us, and with effectively Michael being the works development driver, if you will. This is effectively a full works entry, and I say leave it in the carbon fibre. Last few cars just coming across the line now, gentlemen, and the Supra number 444 that we started off 15 minutes ago, heading back into the pit lane. You can give us a rundown of the times.
Super in, super out. Don't forget, this isn't the first time we've had a 6-hour prologue race, because actually about 2 years ago at Estoril, we had a 6-hour qualifying race. For the following day, we had a 12-hour full race. But, OK, let's have a look at the rundown, Phil.
Yeah, Michael Simpson and Team CMR, Ginetta in first position in GTX, the Lamborghini of Adrian Lewandowski, GT3 Poland, in second position in GTX, and Lionel Amarouche in the Vortex V8 in third position. GT4, Florian Sternkopf in the Czerny Motorsport BMW M4. First in GT4, second the SRS Team Sorg Rennsport Porsche, Stefan Bayer at the wheel in second place. Third place GT4 Arthur Simonday in Circuit Toys in the Toyota, and then in TCX Osman Magal, one of the local racers here, Asbest Racing Porsche in first position. Chazelle Technology Course, Xavier Folifant in second position, and in third position was Colin White in CWS Engineering in another Ginetta, but slightly detuned from that one.
Well, it's the bookends of the Ginetta range, isn't it?
It does.
Success for both of them at that point. Okay, but as I think you mentioned, we didn't see Primus Racing at the end, but they will therefore, unless they can obviously come out in the next 2 sessions as well, but they would still be at the back. I mean, I'm not sure whether there's an issue with the 451. I'm not sure if John can get down, have a look in their garage and see whether they have suffered or whether they have decided not to bother to go out for these 45 minutes of total running time.
Yeah, as Michael was talking there about the growth of this 6-hour race, I was here on the first incarnation in 2021, just coming out of COVID. We had 14 entries, 2022 31, 23 24 entries, 2024 43, last year 52. We've got 60 this year, so we've been growing by a factor of 10 cars or 10 teams each year, which is, and as John said in the intro, the largest ever competitive grid on the Yas Marina circuit.
Well, the reason we're here, the week before the 24 is because of the fact that when the traditional week they wanted was, of course, was booked up here at Yas, and they couldn't get it. So they swapped them round to run with the 6 hour prior to the 24.
Yep.
I get the impression that may become a permanent fixture.
Everybody's liking it.
And I've spoken to Creventic as well, and they're quite enjoying it as well, because it gives them a little bit more time when they get to Dubai next week, prepping for the big one. And obviously, 24 hours is the big one compared to 6 hours. But
Yep.
it's often, sometimes you find that you have happy accidents and happy incidents, and you end up with a better organisation. Because of course, it is very, very busy here in the UAE over January and early February.
Yes.
They've got a kind of a hard stop in the middle of February because of Ramadan, kind of putting a pause on things a little bit, doesn't it, I suppose? So in 6 weeks, you've got to get through the various events. You've got to get through the Middle East Championships. You've got to get through the
Asian Le Mans
Series. Yeah.
Exactly. So, yes, January, February this year is very, very compacted for motorsports here between the Yas Marina Circuit and the Dubai Autodrome, 113 kilometres up the road. And we'll be there next weekend for the 21st running of the Michelin 24 Hours of Dubai. Once again, a very, very large field in that race, as per usual. But, the opener of the season is now at Yas Marina, and I think it may stay that way.
Guys, I have looked for the Audi and I haven't found it, not at all. So unless you have got a pit allocation,
The 451,
and they can tell.
We don't have a pit here at the moment.
No.
Well,
It's a very long pit lane here.
Built only, 15 years ago. So, it's so it'd be dead flat. And, of course, the good thing about it is it's always in the shade. So, you've got those plus points.
Yeah, it's very impressive. This is... I'm out of my usual comfort zone, but for the winter series, effectively, for the Michelin Middle East Trophy, Middle East Cup, I'm in the pits for all of the 3 races, and I have to say I thoroughly enjoyed Malaysia, my first time at that track, as we have.
Yes,
they're rolling.
Yes,
We've been up a minute and a half.
Yeah, okay. I tell you what, guys, there's quite a few GT3 cars, and I accept there were some way away. We're an hour away, I suppose, from those guys. But there's a lot of GT3 cars in bits at the moment. I'm looking at the Mazda Racing Ferrari that was looking like an Airfix kit.
Well, it's got sprue
a little
all over
while
the
ago.
place,
They're starting to. Yeah, absolutely. And there's this huge legend where the point A42 is apparently going to go into D73.
Have they got the IKEA Allen key?
Yes, now that's actually, you're not too far away with a 296. The bodywork's just going back on now, actually, and the modular nature of this car means that it actually is closer to readiness than I thought it was. But there's still a lot of teams who seem to have work to do. Ajith Red Ant and a smattering of Ajith Kumar's supporters on the far side of the pit lane, looking into the pit, hoping for a glimpse of their superstar hero. And I have to say, I had a chat with Ajith yesterday, and he's loving life at the moment and loving this series.
Back on the track, we now have the first time, there's actually just quite a slow time, a rolling slow build-up lap by Julien Boilot in the Vortex V8. He's on a 2:32, which means he has really taken it easy, warming up this second set of tyres. Because just to remind you, the big difference from the qualifying you've been seeing in Creventic over the past couple of years is they are not all running the same set of tyres in the 3 sessions. They get a fresh set every time, with the caveat that set must be used by that car during the race, not by that driver. It doesn't have to be used the same driver as the same set of tyres. That would be way too complicated.
Yes.
But it has to be used by that car. And interestingly, that does talk about, well, how many laps should we do during a qualifying session? To give you an idea, the pole team in the last qualifying session, Team CMR, they did 3 laps in total, whereas the Toyota Supra did 12 laps during qualifying. So, obviously, if your car's light and it's low fizz, it doesn't matter so much.
No.
But if you're putting down 4.3 million horsepower with your supercharger well wound up, you have to be a bit more careful.
In fairness to the guys in that Supra, none of them have seen this track before. So I'm going to suggest that each of them that gets into that are treating this as a bit of extra practice and familiarisation. I think they had an hour yesterday where 3 drivers got about 20 minutes each in that bright yellow number 444, the Super GR GT4 car. So they're all new to the car and all new to this circuit. Now, look, because of what happens here, there's plenty of onboards that you can watch, but it's not the same as getting your backside in the seats. And we've got driver labs here as well in the paddock, and they've been partnered up with the series and giving the teams an opportunity to get perhaps some less experienced drivers at least a shot of looking to see whether it's left and right first or is it right and left.
That tends to help, to be honest.
Well, I always think so, yes. So, you don't want to waste that first lap out, do you?
Into an Armco, no, that's never good. Not all the cars. I think are the cars all out now. I think, yeah, again, apart from that mysterious 451 previous, they've all now rolled out. It wasn't quite so eager to get going. We're 5.5 minutes in the 15-minute session. I think they've now moved their second drivers, which we know, if you have the option, will be your pro, or one of your semi-pros or pros. You haven't got to run an amateur if you don't want to. But we have Jack Mitchell in the Ginetta, who will be looking to try and get that car back on top of the pile for GTX, with Adrian Lewandowski for GT3 Poland and their Lamborghini. It was quite close between the two of them. It's within the realms of getting back there. The only problem is for the Lewandowski team is that it's Mike Simpson getting back in for the third session.
Yeah, true. Joshua Bednarski in the 445, the Cerny Motorsport BMW, had to get a couple of outlaps because he got track limits at turn 16 on his first on the outlap, which means he lost that lap and the next lap. So it'd be the third lap before he got his time in, which he did do a 2:03.860.
We were in the drive with the briefing, which John introed, and then we handed it over to Creventic.
Yep.
When they showed the pictures of the track limits, it wasn't an audible murmur. A huge discussion broke out amongst all the drivers there, going, that seems very generous. That's at least 2 seconds a lap. The only problem is it doesn't count in qualifying, and what you get away with in the race is not the same. And you basically you just have to keep a little bit of tyre on that red and white striping. You can see it's not like in F1 we have to keep them on the white line on the inside of the red and white flat curbing. It's the outside of the flat curbing. That's during the race. You'll get track limits, you carry on going, but track limits within qualifying, as you rightly say, Phil, I mean, that's it for that lap, and on turn 16, that's it for the next lap as well. Yeah,
they have to do that. But as the clock heads down to about the halfway mark in this 15-minute session, and the battle between the Supra and the Ginetta down into turn number 6. Whoops, the bit of track limits there.
I think actually he got away with track limits.
He might have got away with it.
It was just really slow.
It just, yeah, I've seen a few incidents down there.
Certainly gained no advantage on that one, that's for sure.
Exactly. But yeah, they've identified those 3 corners where you can gain an advantage, and especially at turn 3, where you can take a fairly liberal line into turn 4 and maintain a lot of speed.
You can take so much off turn 3, it's hardly a turn anymore.
It's still got that big interior bump there. That was pointed out at that drivers' meeting this morning. I've come down to Leipert Motorsport, gentlemen. The Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo 2 is one of the cars that is still being worked on. Now, at the moment, it hasn't got a windscreen in it. However, I'm going to venture that that's nothing to do with the windscreen at all, because they are struggling to replace the GPS sensor that sits right in the middle of that very large piece of Alcantara covered dash in front of the driver in the Lamborghini Huracan. And it's a case of somebody hanging upside down the wrong way around in the driver's foot box, and somebody else poking down the wire as they're trying to get that whole system back together and working again. And there's some discussion about which wire and how many wires needs to be changed on that car. 4 mechanics working on it at the moment, 3 on the outside pointing, and 1 poor lad on the inside. Frankly, I can only see his feet coming out from the
all been there.
driver's side. Oh, do you know what? That's exactly what I was going to say. We've all been there when there's a wire or a cable or a fastening or a relay somewhere underneath the dash that you need to do.
Really easy, like they can on the race car. I'll take the steering wheel off because it was getting round that those sort of bits where your fingers didn't fit anymore or something in the way.
Flip up.
To be honest, the windscreen is the least of their worries because that's the bit that just drops straight down. It's somebody who's got to have a forearm that bends in 4 different planes of movement to get in and pull the wire through. I remember trying to replace the fuse in the back of the Becker radio and CD player in my old Porsche 993, and it took 2 of us inside the car to be able to get round and do that. And of course you'll be pleased to know that there is a mobile phone torch being used in there, so tick that one off your bingo card.
That could obviously hurt someone. At the top of the GTX field, we have Team CMR. It's Jack Mitchell. He's just done a 1:54.397, which remarkably is just 900ths of a second slower than Mr. Simpson was in the first one, and he's also gained another 0.6 over Adrian Lewandowski. So that one's kind of a 1 and 2 set. In GT4, it's still the Cherney Motorsport BMW by quite a long way as the Colin Brown.
Ryan Savage at the wheel of that car.
Yeah, facing the wrong way with the Ginetta.
Didn't he was facing the wrong way in the
White,
practices?
No, I don't want to give him a different colour there. It's not Colin Brown, it's Colin White. Colin Brown is completely entirely. Oh, we've got a red flag. Yeah. Red flag because of the errant Ginetta.
Okay, the clock will stop at 4:16 to go under red flag. Cars will come back into the pit lane, pull up in the fast lane. Nothing to be done on the cars. Cars can still be worked on in the pits as we are under red flag in session 2 for the TCE GT4 GTX as our fabulous marshals do their work.
He lost the engine there in the CW's car, or was he, because he had a full right-hand lock on, like he was thinking about going round.
It was in exactly the same position. He had I'm not sure if it was him, but the same car had a spin in free practice earlier on today in exactly the same position because it's off camber. It's coming out from under the hotel. And so it's very easy to turn a car around there. Obviously in 2021, somebody else hit the wall there and didn't that end well?
Well, that certainly is. Considering the fact that 3 of you had a 25-minute conversation about it today, pushing 4 and a bit years later, I think that's going to go down as one of the more interesting pieces of accident damage.
Indeed, it is.
Who've got 2 cars here this weekend? They're number 2 in their multicoloured livery, which we're used to seeing, both Audi R8 LMS GT3 Evo 2s. There's also a sort of Manchester City light blue coloured car, which is the 21, the 2-1 car. That's the car that's getting some remedial work. James Winslow this morning proving he's still a racing driver and going for a gap in that last session this morning, unfortunately, or this afternoon rather, in the last session of practice. Unfortunately, the gap that he went for was slightly narrower than an Audi R8 LMS GT3 Evo 2 is wide. So there's some right-hand front damage that has been seen to in the moment. New headlamp going in. There's a new set of front brake discs and pads there as well, which haven't been fitted yet, and I'm not sure whether they're going to go on, but there's still a little bit of touching up of that car to go. The Alpine is back in behind me, and my goodness me, how tiny does that look in the pit lane? It's absolutely standard. I'm fortunate enough to have a road car, one of these last year, maybe the year before now. Took them into the Scottish Borders in the Jim Clark Museum, and I would heartily recommend a trip for those of you in the UK or going to the UK up to Duns to see that. Always something new to see. This one is unencumbered by any extra aerodynamic devices, so other than its red, white and black racing livery, it looks absolutely stock. Super lightweight car, 1.8 transverse mid-mounted engine, no 3-pedal option on the road car, and again this is a paddle shift car as well. Great power to weight ratio, and for me, guys, I think one of the more successful reboots of a classic car. They've more than paid homage to the Alpine A110 and its racing and rally heritage, but certainly brought it up to date. This car, the road car now out of production, as they'll be building no more. I can heartily recommend, if you haven't had a go of one, to get one out on the streets, and it's ready to go out again. This is another team who are doing only the number of laps that they really need to, and they've already got a new set of Michelins strapped on to this car, sitting in 6th position in class. This is the Alpine A110, the number 193.
Point here that the Circuit Toys Toyota is stated to be in the fuel station.
No, basically if it's stopped too close to there, it'll trigger it. It'll trigger the sensor.
Right.
It needs to move down a little bit, and
because obviously you're not allowed to take any fuel in the qualifying session. You have to run the whole thing. We've got a nice long shot now, and we can see the bright yellow Super at the back. But when you're just looking at
they may have
a timing screen.
Yeah, they may have to move that sensor just a little bit to stop it getting confused. Now, just looking at Ryan Savage, who is at the wheel of the CWS Engineering Ginetta, he'd done 10 laps on those tyres. Well, he hadn't, because the driver before had also done laps. They didn't change tyres in between that, because it's impossible for him to do 10 laps in 7.5 minutes.
Is it mandatory you change tyres?
No, it's not. You get the option to do that, but maybe they'd kept the same set of tyres on there, because everybody else has done 3 or 4. But yeah, 10 laps on that. So
not mandatory.
Let me just double check.
You're the man. Listen, I bow to your knowledge, because I know you are an inveterate reader of regulations. Unusual as a competitor, but of course, having spent time in race control, many race controls out here.
On a different set of slick tyres.
Yes.
So maybe they've come under there. Well picked up, John, on my ramblings yesterday. Yes, you have to use a different set of slick tyres. So the only question I have, maybe the Michelin RFID tag didn't work. Yeah, because all the cars have special RFID tags in the wheel arches, so that the tyres, they know what tyre is on that car as part of a lot of tyres that came out. So that'll be something that they'll need to look into.
Right, I want to quickly take you through some of the new features of the new GT2 Ginetta before we get underway. Completely new aerodynamics on the rear end of this car. Michael Simpson was talking us through it earlier on. This one resplendent in absolutely gorgeous laid-up carbon fibre. Why you would want to put any kind of livery on that. And if I go down the left-hand side, the working side, much wider arches than the standard car. It's made, the whole of the car has been made a little more slippery, and there's various aerodynamic accoutrements on the side of the car, and particularly where you notice it is round the front end and behind the front wheel arch. Lots going on down there, with the exhausts still, I think, fantastically rumbling with that big V8 engine right through the sills. Got to be careful you don't burn your legs when you're getting in and out. But what they've done is they've cleaned up the nose of this car, and it now has, although it has more aero on the front, it has a slightly smaller frontal area, and everything's working harder from the way that they're working the air underneath the main part of the bonnet through the radiators, which are lying at an angle underneath the nose of the car, and then they're using the exiting air from those intercoolers, from those radiators, to come out over the top of the car. And actually, if you stand in the right place, you can actually see the radiators down through those gills on the front of the car. This doesn't happen by accident. This is the result of an awful lot of design and research. And as Michael Simpson was telling us earlier on, this is all about getting hours on this car now. They have 4 customer cars going into GT2 in Europe for the coming season, and we'll see this one next weekend again in the Michelin 24 Hours of Dubai.
And a very good-looking machine it is too. It's resplendent in the carb. Another conversation was had earlier, and we've obviously talked about 2021 Abu Dhabi F1. And it's something I'm going to throw out to the listeners and viewers, be you on RSL or on YouTube. We had a conversation about carbon fibre. When was carbon fibre first used as a sort of accoutrement to the inside of a car? John insists it was the 70s. I'm thinking it was way later than that because the first carbon fibre cars weren't until the 80s. But perhaps they were using carbon fibre inlays prior to that.
Street cars or racing
you
cars?
said the Overfinch machine had carbon fibre inlays in the 70s, and I'm sure it didn't have them that early. Yes, you did.
No, I didn't say that. I talked about...
Well,
I think he said carpet, not
and I
carbon
said
fibre.
carpet.
he said carbon fibre.
carpet.
He said
I did
carbon
say
fibre.
I heard
earlier
carpet.
on.
I heard carpet.
Anyway, regardless of who said what to whom and why, if you could answer that question, when was carbon fibre first used as a prettying device, shall we say, a non-structural prettying device or sporty upper for your interior of a car? I'm thinking it's the 90s.
Ooh. I didn't see carbon fibre until the change of century. I'm that old.
Well,
We're still
is that Kestrel?
We're still waiting for when the session's going to be resumed. But we're just waiting.
If you're lucky, if you can see the pictures, there's obviously an ornithologist in the camera team because we're getting quite a lot of bird shots. That's some sort of small kestrel, small hawk, sitting on one of the lights.
Possibly a hawk. Hawks are around in this area. Yeah. The beak looks hawkish.
Yeah.
Very, very hawkish, no doubt.
Little brown bird. And we saw a couple of... We had some gull shots, and we had kind of the slightly weird, well, not weird, but they're just slightly light brown crows you have around here, or sort of members of the crow family.
The crow family, yeah. We're getting dusk here now, and just gone 5 o'clock here. As you can see, the digi panel's flashing red as we look down towards turn 3.
Oh, there we go. There's our little crow family member. So I think it's a crow family. Looks like it. It's hard to tell without the sizing, but so anyway, if you are not only a motorsport fan but an ornithologist, and you have got the pictures, you're having an absolute field day at the moment.
Nick, that you haven't brought your observer book
Arabian
of
birds, yes.
Arabian
and we have
birds.
the gulls now, or these seabirds.
Commonly known here as bin chickens.
Yes, well, that is true. I suppose it must be quite difficult being a gull in the Middle East because there's less chips to steal.
Yes, they steal shawarmas.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah. It's the way that it happens. Yeah, we're still waiting to hear from Race Control when we'll get out. There's the new look podium.
Tim has told me that the family of crows is the corvid family.
And it's a murder of crows.
Oh, it's a murder of crows.
So
yeah.
most definitely, yes. So we have a look at the Chazelle Technology course garage. Yes, mate.
As there was only one of those crows, was that an attempted murder? Then?
Possibly.
He's just acting on his own, so he won't implicate anybody else.
I'm waiting for Seb to catch me back up again. He's down at the other end of the pit lane. I'm at Porsche heaven.
That means you're never going to leave.
Exactly.
No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 911s. A mixture of GT3Rs. No, in fact, they're all GT3Rs, aren't they, in here? And in 2 garages, they've managed to squeeze 5 of them in, both of the substantive Herbert cars. Now, I'm not going to say very much more. Go and read about it. Go on to Sports Car 365 and read the race report about Malaysia. But there has been a slight adjustment to the wording of the driver time regs after Malaysia. The number 10 car ran there as an absolute racing car and is now here again. Is now in here with the easy to spot when it's in the pit lane because it's got the very purple day notice lights on. They've still got the front end up on that one, the luggage compartment up on there, but obviously no luggage. The team very particular about that. So we were opining earlier about whether that car will be allowed to accrue points, and I think the answer is yes, it will. It will bring its points forward, Phil, from Malaysia, because effectively it is the car itself and that running team, which was the same people behind it, Ingo Matter and Herbert, Absolute and Herbert teamed up at Malaysia, but that car is registered for points for the whole championship.
Well, that's slightly different. I'm slightly surprised how long this red flag is running for. We still haven't got an official restart time. It looked like a pretty simple loop, stop, stall.
Unless he's
pinged the the barrier in some way, but it didn't seem to be any barrier damage. You'd have thought that'd be very, very simple, because it's right near the pit lane as well. It'll be a really simple pickup, couple of minutes max. We can stop now for, what, 10 minutes at least?
Yeah.
With no sign yet of a restart time.
Yeah, interesting. The recovery services are in attendance at the moment. It's a sort of difficult area to get to, as it's the exit of the hotel coming out of turn 14. And we do have our fabulous recovery services here at the Asp Marina circuit, very, very experienced as they handle Formula One as well. And a big thank you to all of our marshals around the circuit. They've had a very, very, coming off Grand Prix straight back into a 6-hour, and then they've got Asia Le Mans series. And
so when did the kind of general change from bringing in European marshals to having local marshals happen then?
Around about 23, I think it was. We had a lot of BARDC marshals come across. CAMS marshals obviously came across as well, and it was great because they have brought such a wealth of experience. We have a lot of local marshals here. When I was in looking after chief comms in race control for Formula One, going out and visiting all the marshal posts with all the F1 officials, it was great to see so many locals getting involved, and they're volunteers and getting involved in motorsport in this region. They've got beautiful tracks to do it with. The EMSO, our organising body here, does an amazing job of getting marshals to this place. Remember, it's a work day today here. It's a Friday. We have a Saturday, Sunday weekends, unlike most of the rest of the Middle East. So, yeah, a big thank you for people taking time off work and coming down and keeping everybody safe, because without you, we don't go racing.
Absolutely. I think, the Orange Army needed at every event.
Indeed.
So just to sum up where we were when everything was stopped, when the world stopped, the session stopped, it's Team CMR Ginetta from GT3 Poland, oddly running in GTX with the Lamborghini in second, and Vortex V8 third in GTX. In GT4, it's Cheney Motorsport with their BMW. From Circuit Toys, it's Toyota. SRS Team Sork Rennsport with their Porsche, they're in third, and then not taking part, we don't know why, is Primus Racing, their Audi. TCE, it's Asbest, but there's 4 Asbest, so it's the Asbest Porsche from the Chazelle Technology course, the Alpine, which John was waxing lyrical about a few moments ago, and it's the CWS Engineering Ginetta, which I think is in third. Not sure whether that'll be allowed to take part again.
It's going to be on the back of a recovery truck.
Broken as well, because we didn't start again, so that's currently third. And that will drop to the back if it doesn't take part in the third session. That's then Christian Ladon, and the Asbest Racing Seat is in fourth, the Asbest Racing Cooper is in fifth, and the Asbest Racing Volkswagen is in sixth. And that's where we wait with 4 minutes to go, so enough time for an in and, well, actually, in and a fast, I think, yeah. 4:16, 4 minutes 16. So
there are a few teams, I think, who are calling it a day, but there's one that's not, right at the pit exit. Now, they were told not to go too close to the RFID readers for the Michelin tyres, but we have got a car sitting all the way at pit out, and I'm stretching my eyes. You guys can probably see it better on the tracker.
It looks like the 7...
Wouldn't be a 7, because the 7's the GT. It might be 7, the GT4.
It could
yeah,
be the
764.
764. It could be the... Is it the Lamborghini?
No, it's not the Lamborghini.
Well, it's either Ginetta or...
I think you were right the first time.
Lamborghini's got a fabulous paint job. I think it's Adrian Lewandowski in that car.
Okay. Or is it the Asbest? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they get an out lap and possibly 2 hot laps. Possibly.
No, not with a 2 minute lap time and the slower out lap.
Yeah,
you got 4:16 in total.
But they may not go slow on that.
Well, that is true. We're rolling again in about 2.5 minutes, John. We're starting at 20 past, and it's currently 17:48. So it's 2 minutes and 12 seconds before the red light is extinguished and the green light takes over.
451, yeah.
Oh, it's the missing car. Oh.
Yeah, it's a 451, the missing
Audi.
The missing Audi is going to go out in session 2. Well, they've probably seen a chance to... well, no, that's a different class, isn't it? The CWS. They're just going to run the car.
I think...
and I can't see any issues with it as to why it didn't go out before.
Just missed the... perhaps they were doing some of those last-minute bits of work after the 2-hour free practice session, and they just missed the start.
Do you know, it's still a great-looking car, the Audi R8, isn't it? When you consider how old that design is now.
Was it 06 when it came out?
I remember driving a stick shift 6-speed V8, one of the very early cars back in the UK, courtesy of Audi UK and the very lovely David Ingram, who, without whom there would be no Radio Le Mans at current time, because when we took that over in 2006, Audi UK were our first partners, and I've always thought that the design has aged very, very well, and those early V8 cars now are not a lot of money. And it went through a stage about 5 or 6 years ago where I thought, no, maybe not. But I think they're coming back into their own now, and they're still a very, very impressive racing car, still winning out on the circuits around the world. All the asbestos. Oh, I'm doing a bit of a Bonnie Tyler here because I'm getting blown about by one of the guys. I haven't got quite the hair to do the Total Eclipse of the Heart video. All the asbestos team cars are sitting at the end of the pit lane. 30 seconds to green flag. Pia Olsen in behind the wheel of the 102. These are all front wheel drive Cupras and Seats, and also they've got the very lovely Golf, which I think is a Golf Mark 6, is it?
Probably.
The GTI, TCR going out now.
When Volkswagen pulled the plug on the TCR movement.
All the same platform, of course, built by Seat Sport in
off
Spain.
the same line, then just
all of
nailed on with a different body shape for depending on which particular model it was supposed to be aping.
Yes
Yes,
and no.
By the end.
Yeah. However, the later cars, what's called the Gen 2 or Gen 3 cars actually now, are a very, very different car.
I think the
They're
Seat Leon, John, might not be a DSG. I mean, if you compare and have a look and see what its gearbox is, it doesn't say DSG in the title, but that may just be because it was a little bit older. And then one of the changes they did was they moved to from sequential to DSG gearboxes and that sort of thing during the TCR period. But it may well.
Right, stand by, caller.
Just to your left. So
let me have a look.
They're doing
right. The Seat Leon has still got the shifter in the middle, which is that is a DSG car. So that they'll move that down into sport and use the paddles. The Cupra
is that a sequential? Okay, so
has the same. So they're both DSG cars. Hello,
a late set.
Oh, can I just say, I need Seb here. Seb, show the good people at home the attention to detail on the top of the number 102 with Pia Olsen in behind it. We have got multicoloured lights.
There we are.
Over the top of the Cupra.
$2.99 for the 2 strips.
Very good. Putting those on your Land Rover, I think.
There's many things.
They look great on the Defender.
Most of them to stop it from rusting. So they are rolling. How many cars have gone out? So we've had only had the Chisel Technology Alpine out so far, and the Volkswagen of Asbest Racing, and of course we have finally seen Tommy Linderoth in the Audi, the GT4 Primus racing car.
Turn round, have a look at this flag here, because there's a very proud gentleman standing next to me. Tell everybody your name, sir.
Hello, I'm Suhail Jeffries. I'm Axel's dad, and we're from Zimbabwe, and I brought another driver from Zimbabwe.
So Axel no longer the only driver from Zimbabwe that we've seen in this series. Tell us about this young man.
Yeah, Dylan's from the smaller town called Bulawayo in Zimbabwe, where they ran F1 in the 70s. You know that John Love? Yeah. Yeah, so he's been racing in South Africa as well, and his dad begged me and said, can you make a plan to get us into Dubai 24? I said, yes, and Abu Dhabi 6 hours. So we've got him here.
And where's Axel at the moment, then? Because we haven't seen him for a while.
Axel's in the Into Africa Ferrari 296 with Dragon Racing. So, yeah. So, fingers crossed for him for this race and 24.
Sounds like we're going back to green flag. I'll let you get back to it.
Okay.
Let's go and have a look at this car that's come back on the back of the flatbed. So another Zimbabwean racing driver here in this truly international series, the Michelin 24-hour series by Creventic.
Well, a bit of news. My daughter's living in Zimbabwe at the moment. She's spending a lot of time out there working for I'll use the word charity. It seems to be a place for relatively well-off upper middle-class girls spend their gap year, but they call it a charity. But she's working there. And she came back to the UK for about 2 weeks, and she's back out to Zimbabwe, flew out a couple of days ago, and she's sending. It's great because her Instagram is shots of giraffes and rhinos and lions being looked after. You know, it's not some overly pampered cockapoo. So she's living her best life out in Zimbabwe at the moment.
Right, here is the Ginetta of CWS Engineering coming down on the back of the flatbed. It doesn't look to have any damage. This is a more standard G55 with the V6 engine in it.
The wheels are still pointing hard right, which is what they were doing before. So whether it's a thing where he's had some damage on the left-hand side, he's pinged that barrier, which explains why we had that delay.
Ah, there you go. And there's the answer. Right, checkered flag coming out. It's in hand on the start-finish gantry, lads.
Make the we end up only getting 3 cars running. One of them, of course, was just obviously a shakedown for the 451.
193. Lloyd Libido was all sorts of sideways at turn 3 and 4 in the Alpine. He's on a hot lap now, but no green sectors in this one.
And therefore they're going to hit the end of this lap. They'll have to come in. Obviously, they run another lap if they want to, but my guess is they may roll in. Certainly, Tommy Lindroth in the Primus Racing, the black. Actually, that's actually in the Audi Sport colours, just in different order, isn't it? The black, white, and the red. So Lindroth there is coming in, and he is not running at full speed. I'm sure it's just a shakedown lap.
I just have to go back and check. I don't think we've ever seen a GT4 spec Audi race here. Always been GT3 spec.
We've had GT4 specs in Creventic. I don't know if they've been Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, exactly. John, you got something for us?
Yeah, let's hear the man with his name above the door. CWS is Colin White. This is not what you wanted to see at this stage of the weekend, but I suppose if we're going to be slightly positive, better now than in the race, Colin.
Yeah, we got time to repair it this evening. Now we can repair it. If it isn't a race, you're using race time, and there's not much of that tomorrow, is it? It's 6 hours. The lad driving the car, he's driven the Ginetta a few years ago, but he was quite quick, but trying to push too hard, too early. So he's lost control and hit the wall, done the suspension and back panel, so we got all the spares with us so we can repair it.
You just didn't need that tonight, did you?
No, I could run out of beer, really.
Indeed so. Listen, how are you? What was your Christmas and New Year like, and how's business going generally?
Yeah, we've been really busy doing recycling equipment and storing that in quite a few places in England. And that's been really good. We've been on busy in the workshop doing other things as well, projects we're doing, so that's been good. The racing's been a bit quiet, really, so that's why we come out here, and so we'll have a bit of time out here. But
I see you more out here in Creventic racing than I ever do in the UK. What is it that brings you and the team back to Creventic and the Michelin 24-hour series?
Well, you only got to look at it today. What is it, 58 cars or something? 60, yeah. 63 or 62. You know, we've never seen that here as a record, and you know, it just shows that everybody knows if you come here, you're going to have a fair race and enjoy yourself, and that's important to do both.
I love the feel. I think it's fair to say that you and I have been around quite a while in paddocks around the world and in the UK. I just love the atmosphere in the paddock. It's almost like turning the clock back 25, 30 years, Colin.
Yeah, if anybody's stuck for anything, everybody lends everything and help everybody. And there's not them and us, there's always all of us. Yeah. As a whole complete family, really, the whole thing. And that's what we like doing, really.
Right, I'm going to let you go now because you're going to have to point at things. Yeah. And probably the next time we see Colin, he'll be up to his elbows in grease because you'll be diving in there yourself.
My wife told me not to take me overalls off, leave them on so I don't get dirty.
Cheers, mate. Good luck for the weekend. Colin White, one of the absolute stalwarts of Michelin 24H Series racing. And as I say, I've known Colin for a very, very long time from racing in the UK. And great to see him back, fit as a butcher's dog and ready to go racing again.
So the last stragglers of this second session of 3, qualifying session for the TCE and GT4 and GTX class, just making back to the pits. It's supposed to be a 5-minute break. I expect as we're now running about 20 minutes behind, they're going to start and try and accelerate. In fact, they are. They're going to be rolling out part 3 of this qualifying session in less than a minute. So they are just trying to catch up the delay caused by that thump onto the barrier by the CWS Ginetta.
Let's just do a quick run through of where everybody finished up after qualifying number 2. So Jack Mitchell in the Team CMR Ginetta, first in GTX. Second in GTX is the Lamborghini from GT3 Poland. Adrian Lewandowski at the wheel of that one, and third in GTX. Julien Bollet in the Vortex V8. In GT4, Joshua Bednarski in the Journey Motorsport BMW. Was that as the screens go back to normal, and because the session is pretty much going to start.
Has been
I got through the GTX. So I got through the GTX.
Keep going, it's fine.
Yeah, and the GT Circuit Toys Toyota Supra in second position in GT4, and then the SRS Team Sorg Rennsport in third position in GT4. TCE TCX Asbest Racing Porsche in first position. Chazelle Technology Course in second, and then the unfortunate CWS Engineering Ginetta will take no further part in this in Q3. So in the GTX, all of the drivers who came out first will now come out again, because GTX, they've all selected individually to only have 2 drivers to do a 6-hour race. So they'll all come back out again, and we'll see different drivers in the TCE, TCX and GT4s.
So currently the distance between first and second in GTX is 0.8 on average, but that actually does mean that Andrzej Lewandowski would need to go 1.61 seconds faster than the best time that Mike Simpson does in the Ginetta, because that's the way the aggregates work. You've got to make up double what you're behind. At the moment, it's the difference is about 0.6, therefore 1.2 seconds needs to be improved between Asbest Racing's Porsche and the Chazelle Technology Alpine. And in GT4, it's 10 seconds, so we'll give that one as long as the car goes round to the Journey Motorsport BMW. But qualifying is one thing, and of course an endurance race something else entirely.
Indeed it is, and we have most of the cars back out on field, just waiting on 2 of the Asbest Racing cars, the 103 and the 451, and the Team CMR Ginetta, the 795, yet to exit the pit lane, which means we should have 12 cars on track as those cold tyres. No tyre warmers this year, which means that the cars are getting very skaty. Temperatures cooling down, the sun has dropped below the horizon, so track lighting is in full effect here. It's just like daylight out there, but the track conditions have been cloudy today. Didn't get that temperature in it earlier on, and I saw the Lamborghini have a skate around. We also saw the Alpine earlier on skating around through turn 2 and 3 on cold tyres. Could be a bit difficult later on getting through that tunnel with all that horsepower in the GT3s.
I'm sure they'll be careful. The chance of making mistakes is significantly greater when we get to the actual race itself, when the adrenaline's running, and the desperation to make up every half second will be much towards the front of the minds of the drivers. So the third session underway. Not a lot to play for, and you would think really at this point, if I was a team manager, I'd be saying, right, go out, get a lap so we actually nail in a position, and then bring it in. Let's keep the tyre wear down. But I'm not a team manager, and I'm not handling a lot of drivers who may want to learn where the track goes.
I think you're quite correct on let's keep the tyres in decent condition, because as John said in the intro, as a Lambo misses turn 1 by a postcode, the tyres have to be used in the race. And so you don't want to do any damage to them, but you also, you know, if you get the heat cycle wrong on them and you tear the carcass up, you're still going to have to use those tyres in the race, which will disadvantage you greatly.
We get an out lap, a fast lap and an in lap, and that'll be at the Dubai Autodrome for the Michelin 24 Hours next weekend. That's next Saturday and Sunday. That's a new feature. I can update you on the Audi. They had an issue with a wheel bearing, a rear wheel bearing, towards the end of the last practice session, and then they've gone out and had that Ginetta just looks and sounds amazing. Then they've gone out, had a front puncture, which that's okay, that's easy to find, but solved. But it's taken out one of the wheel sensors for the ABS, and so that's why the car came back in slightly early. Now, Anybody watching or listening around Abu Dhabi who has an Audi R8 V10, it's exactly the same unit as a street car. So it's probably a bit late to get to the Audi dealers now at 5:30, 25 to 6 on a Friday. But we are short of a front wheel sensor for the ABS on an R8. They're gonna carry on without the fully functioning ABS, and that's why we're seeing some work going on in the car now. But you're right about these GT4s. They are extremely stock looking in terms of the aerodynamic appendages. This one running in a sort of a satin red, white and black, almost an Audi Sport lozenge type colour. But just spoke to Nicholas, the team manager, and he is convinced that they'll be able to get this car sorted. They're already looking for spare parts. You didn't come in an R8, Phil, did you, by any chance? Because you might have no ABS on the wheel.
I saw 3 in the car park.
Yeah,
I can send them down there.
It's a car park job. It's get out there, have a look in the car park. There's bound to be something he'll do it with, and he'll be up and running in no time at all. I mean, this has happened before. I can't remember. There was a race where they took a drive shaft out of an actual car that was in the car park.
Didn't we have a BMW down in Dubai?
It was a drive shaft, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They'd done one already. And so someone's. I mean, but to get this clear, the person who donated the drive shaft was fully aware they donated the drive shaft. It wasn't some sort of like under the cover of darkness sort of let's go and nick a drive shaft situation.
These drivers are really struggling to get these tyres up to temperature. Just saw the 101 go through turn 6 like a rally car with a full handful of opposite lock. It looked fantastic, but not the way that you want to get through there. And going back to Dubai, the year that we were running the Aston Martins in GT3, the 2 local teams, they drove to the track in Aston Martins, and all of the cars that drove to the track had their drive shafts removed during the race.
Well, you know. So we're going to carry this delay we picked up in the previous red flag throughout the rest of the session. So if you're poring over an accurate timetable, we're going back 15 minutes. So everything's going to start 15 minutes later for the next 2 sets of qualifying. Next one is 992, so a Porsche, Porsche family splendid day out, because nothing but Porsche 992s going on, and then we have the GT, exactly. And that's, hang on, that's copyright me. Then we have the GT3 class going out in about an hour and a quarter's time. So just wait for some times to come in. Interesting, the times, and Phil was mentioning how the cars are wandering all around the track, not having a great time warming the tyres up. The times for both the GTXs are 2 and 4 seconds slower than they can do normally. So I don't know whether that's just poor driving. We did see that there was a problem for one of the cars at turn 1, but I think the track actually has genuinely slowed down over the past 20 minutes, or since obviously half an hour really, because we didn't get any extra running after that extended red flag.
Dylan Prudgie was a prime example of that in turn 1 in the 111 Asbest Racing Porsche. But at the same trouble, just trying to get the grip in the rear of that car a little bit too hard on the accelerator, and the back stepped out on him. And just watching the vortex down into the same one, Lionel Amarouche at the wheel of that one, going through the 6 and 7 combination, getting a bit more temperature in the tyres now. It's just on 7 minutes remaining in this 3rd and final session for the TCE GT4 and GTX, and out of this we'll get a pole sitter for the 6-hour race tomorrow.
Mike Simpson about to finish what I am sure will be his only hot lap, because they won't want to put any much more onto those tyres. Let's see what Michael can do when he comes around, and he's just going to come across the line, and he's looking pretty quick. He does a 1:55.03, which is 5 seconds faster than anyone else in the class, and is only half a second slower than he did earlier. So he's 7 tenths of a second slower than he did in the first session. So I don't know whether that's just I think that could well be down. The track has got a tiny bit slower. Heavy weather being made by some of the other drivers, possibly because they're just waiting to get the temperature of the tyres, waiting to go to the 2nd or 3rd flying lap. But
I think 2nd and 3rd flying lap is the key there, Nick. 2 laps done for the Lamborghini, and fastest in Sector 2 and in Sector 3 on that lap, chasing down the vortex at the moment.
Yeah, Lewandowski was only 1/1000th of a second slower than Michael Simpson in that last lap. But as I said, he has to go 1.7 seconds faster to snatch pole, which isn't going to happen.
I don't think so.
No, it's not. The other cars, Cherny Motorsport, under no threat, of course, as we know. We need to see another one of the GT4s go 10 seconds faster over these two, and they have completed the laps. They have effectively nailed themselves into that position. You have to do that third session. In TCE, where it's Porsche v Alpine, which is quite exciting.
That's great.
The Alpine is significantly slower, unfortunately, at the moment. If you're back in the Alpine, that's a disappointment. Then the Porsche on this third session with a 2:06 for Dylan Pragi, where Benoist Rousset in the Alpine is on a 2:09. Obviously, there are tenths behind that, but basically it's 2.8 seconds is the gap as they run around the first lap. 5:16 to go, 5:15 to go, and we'll see whether people decide to do a little bit of tyre saving and come in, or they just want to blast around as many laps as possible.
Yeah, I'm seeing lots of green on the timing board at the moment, which means they're doing their personal best in those sectors, and Andrzej Lewandowski does his personal best in sector 2 and a lap time best for the sector 46.580. Can he put any pressure on Michael Simpson in the Ginetta? They've both been out before in Q1, and so they know what the track's doing. It's just getting that car dialed in with 4.5 minutes on the clock.
Well, Simpson did a slow one last time round of a 2:01. I'm not sure that. I don't think that actually meant going into the. No, he didn't go to the pit, so he's done a cool down lap. So
I think he did have a little bit of traffic. He had 2 of the asbest cars in front of him going down into turn 6.
Yeah, now he's turned it back on again with a fastest overall purple sector in sector 1. So they decided this time round they're going to give him a couple of flying laps.
Yes.
Obviously didn't get the first time, so he's immediately, because the fastest lap in this session has gone now to Andrzej Lewandowski in the GT3 Poland Lamborghini. That's now 1:54.742, which is about 3 or 4 tenths off the best we've seen. But yeah, it is obvious we need to do a little bit more running, get a little more temperature in the tyres, because they're getting a little bit less help from the track. But you know, historically, cooler track are eventually quicker once you get in there. So perhaps it's a real sweet spot for Michael Simpson to find with the Ginetta over the next minute or so.
We've got to remember that these are endurance tyres, not qualifying tyres. So they're built for endurance. They're built to last that hour, hour and a half, 2 hours of racing. So just getting them into the right window where they're hot enough and not damaging them, because you still got to use them in the race. And that's what the team managers will be reminding the drivers about.
One of the things that was interesting, Phil, when we changed from the long-time previous tyre supplier to Michelin, the Michelins did have a much bigger initial delta advantage than the previous supply ever had, and that was exploited a lot over the first couple of events, especially by the teams who had a lot of money. And that's why I think some of these other tyre rules have come in to reduce the advantage of trying to use those first 3 or 4 laps, which we were seeing a lot. So yeah, there is a definitely 2 or 3 quickens and then a very good long typical Michelin plateau after that. But those 2 or 3 good ones were, you know, a place for some of the teams to really exploit their bigger budget.
Has called it a night and is sitting with the gull-wing doors up and sitting on its hydraulic jacks. Tyres are still on.
Actually, John, of course, that's by no means the most expensive gull-wing car here today, is it?
No, there are 2 SLRs outside and an SLR
one's not enough, obviously, is it? You need to have 2 gull-wing Mercedes, the classic 50s cars, I believe are worth at least, what's $5 or $6 million each to put it.
And when I went out to get my earpieces from the Porsche Macan that I've got parked up on the Porsche destination charging point, which is perfectly positioned here in the paddock, in pulls the same era of Mercedes, but the convertible
there we go.
version of it, you know, and that's not the same one as I saw last year, because this one had a white interior, and the silver one that I saw when I was leaving this event last year had a red interior. So it is the biggest concentration of super light Mercedes-Benz that I've ever seen anywhere away from a Mercedes-Benz meeting. We've got that's Cherny Motorsport right at the other end of the pit lane.
Oh, they are completely nailed on, John. Yes.
Yeah, good for them. They come in as the championship leader, of course.
Yeah, they've swept the board on that one. They have an average of about 4 seconds quicker than the machine immediately behind them, which is currently the Circuit Toys Toyota, who've just hopped past the Porsche of SRS team Sorg Rennsport in GT4.
1 minute to go in the final qualifying session for the TCE, GT4 and GTX. We've got a few hot laps happening out there at the moment. Benoist Rosset in the Chazelle Technology Course Alpine doing his personal best in Sector 1 and Sector 2. SRS Team Sorg Rennsport Porsche with Benito Tagal at the wheel, currently third in GT4, doing his best sectors as well. So the tyres are coming on, and Pierre Olsen in the Cupra doing the same in Sector 1 and Sector 2.
Yeah, it's winding down now. Just less than half a minute of this final qualifying session to go. Michael Simpson has done the fastest lap of, in fact, the fastest lap of all of the 153.9. So
first into the 50, first into the 53s.
So
wow.
He's shown the a clean pair of heels. The Asbest Porsche in which is leading in the 111, leading in TCE. That's done a 2:05.9 this time. Another green one is a 2:13.5 for the Porsche GT4 of Sorg Rennsport SRS. So a few quicker times, but I don't think we're going to see any particular big movements on the overall timing screens. CWS, of course, now dropped to the bottom. That's the Ginetta, which was in the barriers about half an hour ago. That's dropped to the bottom of TC and will qualify 6th. It hasn't got 3 counting sectors. So they will be the last qualifier, and I think because they will be on, are they gridding them per class now? I think they are, aren't they? They've changed that now. They're gridding per class rather than gridding per time.
Yeah, I think they're gridding per class just to keep it nice and simple. So it'll be GT3 followed by I think 992 and then GTX.
Yeah, there's no subdivision of Pro-Am or anything else.
No.
Just the top line. You'll have the GT3s first, then you'll have the GTXs, then you have the 992s, then the GT4s and the TCEs at the back.
Just keeps it nice and simple and keeps it nice and safe for the rolling start. And John, what have you got for us?
I'm down at Czerny Motorsport. They've secured the class pole, and let me just drag a driver out to my camera, who is just alongside. We're getting ready for the 992 session. There it is, class pole. That's great. That looks great. Which session did you drive?
The first.
I thought you did. We're just making sure we're getting you on the camera here. Tell me about the lap, tell me about the preparation and coming here to Dubai. How you found it?
We was already in Malaysia, but then after that our two drivers canceled the program and we had to do it a whole new program in I think 1 week. And it was extremely difficult to come here, but we are extremely happy to be here. We have not much preparation, just 1 hour yesterday, then a free practice, and now this. And we have 3 drivers with nearly the same lap time. It was a really good average now. Have Henry as a team chef, as a really good gentleman driver. So we are extremely happy. We are fast now. We will see, but the race is long.
I should have said, by the way, we're talking to Frederick Sternkopf. How difficult was it then to get everything organised in such a small amount of time?
Well, extremely stressed. Please don't ask my family over the Christmas holidays. It was extremely stressful and it was not funny, to be honest. But yeah, the main point is we are here. Now we have fun. We are fast. We are class pole winners, so perfect.
You guys didn't have that. You didn't have any competition in Malaysia, but that's not how you raced. Yeah. You raced as if there were 10 cars right up your tailpipes. Yeah. Why was that?
Because we will show that we are fast, and we saw the lap times from GT4 Asia, I think, and we want to compete with them. Want to practice for here. And yeah, we have some good drivers there, some 2 pro drivers like Bryce Fullwood was there from the Australian Supercar Series. It's an honor to with these guys. We can learn much from them, and I think the job was good, and that's the main thing.
Well done. Still work to do tomorrow, we know. 6 hours to come, but class pole position for Czerny. Championship leaders, remember, in GT4. All right, let's remind ourselves what happened in that qualifying session for GT4, TCX and GTX.
Going through the highlights in this first 15-minute session. We had our first look at all of the TCE GT4 and GTX cars, and getting used to having a fresh set of tyres on the car. Beautiful looking Supra out there having a battle with the Ginetta, and then we had the incident there at turn 14. The 178 caused the red flag, and the back left-hand corner, that didn't look well. The Alpine getting all sorts of sideways. We're in turn 3. That beautiful looking Lamborghini and the thumping sound of the Ginetta as the cars came across the line to finish their 3 15-minute sessions. Let's have a look at the results. Team CMR first in their Ginetta, and then second GT3 Poland in the Lamborghini, and the 701 of Lionel Amarouche, and the Vortex in third in GT3. Then Cerny Motorsport, as John just spoke to, in the BMW, leading the way in GT4. Asbest Racing leading the way in the Porsche number 111 in TCE TCX. It was first. Then in second position, the Chazelle Technology course in the Alpine. Got that through. Circuit Toys in the 444 in the Toyota in 7th overall. 8th overall was SRS Team Rennsport in the 427 Porsche. Asbest Racing 101 9th in the Seat, and 10th in the Asbest Racing Cupra number 102. Rounding out the top 10 of the 13. Remember, we had a couple of cars sit out the last round with some technical issues. Asbest Racing in the 103 in the Volkswagen, then CWS Engineering with the accident, and Primus Racing in the Audi with an ABS sensor and a puncher of all things, and on their only time out of the track, and they'll start last on the grid tomorrow.
Well, they won't actually, because they'll be at the back of the GT4 class.
Yeah. Last in class.
Last in class.
Thank you, Nick.
I know, and pedantry now is my middle name.
Pedantry.
Okay, so we're about to get underway with the 992 Porsches. It's a Porsche paradise. I suppose we start in the next few seconds. They'll be underway. All these sessions you can start quarter of an hour later than originally planned. They have actually officially got rolling, but there's no takers yet on the track for this 17-car two-class field. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them.
4 AM, 13, 4 Pro Am and 13 Am.
And the first person to take the track is Josh Berry in the EBM machine, and he will obviously run round. And then it'll be interesting to see what the strategy on this is. Because tyre wear this is a very, very tight field. You've got a huge number of cars which are obviously identical, apart from where they're set up and where they're driven, but they're identical. And they have, therefore, do you desperately want to keep the tyre wear down to a minimum? Do you just want to do 3 laps? Or is it a case where you can't do 3 laps because the track's not warm enough to let you do it?
Well, they've been probably watching the GTX cars, seeing how they were handling it, because they've got similar horsepower and they're using exactly the same tyres. EBM, by the way, Josh Berry's car, it stands for El Bamba Motorsport, out of New Zealand, running a couple of cars here this weekend. They've got 8 cars already out on track, 13.5 minutes to go. We can see some cars still up on the jacks. Yeah, the strategy is going to be very interesting, because basically this is like a Porsche Super Cup qualifying.
Yeah,
really.
And I think actually in a 6-hour race in this class, I think qualifying position does count.
It does.
You don't want to be back huge way back. Now the thing to remember is Mike Simpson, who put the fastest time down in that last session, 15 minutes ago, did it on lap 5.
Yeah.
It took 5 laps to do it, and he was significantly slower on his first flying lap, and he had a cool down and then went again. So, I mean,
it's 5 laps with 700 horsepower or something under his right foot. Let's be absolutely clear about that. Keep an eye out for the 2 Sebledu Racing purple Porsche Paradise cars. They've doubled up here this weekend. There's a little bit of overcast as the sun's gone down, and the lights now have really taken over in the pit lane. I can see 1 or 2 shadows. Beautiful sunset off over the water. And right now, I'm with you guys. I don't really know what we're going to see with these guys. I think they're going to have to stay out, because what do we know about Porsches? They've got the engine at the back. The back tyre warm-up won't be a problem. The fronts are going to be a nightmare. Yes, you're going to have probably half a tank of
it's at the front end, so you're going to get, in the early runs at least, you're going to get the advantage of that.
John, you have to make your plan of how many laps you're going to do before you send the car out for any of its 3 sessions, because you're filling the tank up. And if you suddenly decide we won't do 7 laps, we'll do 3, you're carrying 4 laps worth of fuel, and this is going to be incredibly tight when you've got this many cars with quality drivers, and they're the same basically.
There is quite. I mean, look, this is about to be the outgoing version of the Porsche 992 Cup car, because the new car will make its competition debut at Sebring in the IMSA Championship in March, which is the 992.2. And interestingly, they've dropped the GT3 part of the car's name. It's going to become the Porsche 911 Cup, which makes a lot more sense from my point of view. But when this car was introduced, and again it was the Porsche Carrera Cup North America that got it first, the lap times that it was putting in then were a nip and not very much more behind a GT3. Now the GT3s have come on quite a bit since then, but these cars are infinitely more adjustable and than the previous model. The new ones are more so still, and also, of course, you can have ABS in any race over an hour in these cars. The new 992.2, from Super Cup down over, everybody gets ABS in the new 992 Cup car. And I'm with you guys. I think we're going to have a cracking battle. And one thing we know about these cars is, which you don't often see, well, I actually do see it about 992 Porsches, they are quite frugal on fuel. And in a 6-hour race, and certainly next weekend at the Michelin 24 Hours of Dubai, you'll see these cars at the end of maybe an hour and a half, right in. I think you'll see them inside the top 10, even with a 30-car GT3 field, as we have this week and next week.
This is an odd positioning of a Code 60, but apart from that, they always do lead after about an hour and 10 minutes. Quicker in a straight line than GT3, but obviously your ratio of corners to straights makes up how close they are to a full GT3 race. And of course, if you wanted to drive this car, you can drive it right now on iRacing, because it was launched a few weeks ago. So one of the first places you can drive this 992 Cup car, 91.2 Cup car, is on iRacing.
Fabian Dans leading the way at the moment. Red Camel Jordans.nl in the 909. 156.931 is the marker that has been set. And everybody doing green lap times, but nobody doing purple at the moment. So maybe you were right earlier on when you said maybe 3 or 4 laps. Most of them have done 2 laps, so that's an out lap and their first push lap. But maybe there's 2 or 3 push laps in this one. So we watched the 932 try and get some temperature. Agarwal at the wheel of the HRT Performance Porsche. Just trying to get those front tyres, as John said, up to temperature, trying to stop it pushing through the corner.
Well, Fabian Dans has put in a real stellar marker of the first 156.9. Well. He's going quicker as well. Absolutely right there. The second fastest machine is 1.4 seconds slower than that. I mean, we haven't got a complete set of first fast flying laps in for everybody yet, but Jean-Mathieu Leandri of Chazelle Technology Course, they are running currently in second, but don't forget there's 3 parts. This is aggregated, but given the fact that after Fabian gets out of the Red Camel Jordans, you have the Loic and Rick Barukas who are getting in. They have 2 very quick drivers to come, but they are one of only 4 professional teams, the others being Razun Morthan Racing with the number 914, the Alabama Motors with car, which we talked about with Josh Berry 952, and down the bottom Mark J. Thomas with Mulder Motorsport. So 4 full pro teams, and the rest of the 17 cars are in the amateur, and it's all about the cars, are exactly the same. It's just a mixture of the drivers.
Exactly, and I think what's happening, Nick, is they're bringing these tyres in slowly. They have to use them in the race. So if they don't want to get onto these tyres in the race and then absolutely be toast. So I think we're seeing some very smart tyre, bringing the tyres in, getting the core temperature up, getting the surface temperature into the right window, get that lap in. Maybe they had had to fuel it a little bit longer. They had to think about maybe we have to do an extra lap in each session in order to get the best out of these tyres. As Jean-Mathieu Leandri in the Chazelle Technology course portion puts in the best sector 2 of 47.986, currently sitting third on the leaderboard.
Yeah, so that was the HRT machine, but they are.
Oh,
they come to with Akil Agawal, but I think individual fast sectors are not where it's at. Though admittedly, they help in the overall scheme of things, but it's still a healthy lead for Fabian Dansby and Jordan. There's now 3 cars on the 157 mark, and then a gap back to 159. But there's a huge amount of green on the timing screens at the moment, and as they all get their eye in, because of course the light's going as well, so you have to get your eye in as they're racing under the lights for the first time. As it slowly transitions. Now, actually, despite the fact this race starts tomorrow at 3 o'clock and therefore runs till 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the evening, sorry. Basic maths gone out the window already. And obviously runs into pitch black. There is no night practice because it doesn't need to be, because it never gets dark.
Well, not at this circuit anyway. It's like driving in daytime. Completely different when we get to Dubai, because Dubai has a different type of lighting. It's more based on the Kuwait style of lighting, so it's not like daylight. So the AM Plus and AM Spirit drivers must do night practice. Everybody else gets a pass on it, which is different from previous years when we only had a certain part of the track light lit up. Yes, mate.
I know when we go to Bahrain and do the FIA World Endurance Championship there, they don't put all of the lights on for that as they do for Formula One. Is that the same here? Are we sort of turned down a little bit, or is this F1 style brightness?
On off.
Turn the lights off when you leave, everybody.
We can plug a lighting desk into it and we can make the track flash and all that sort of stuff. But before racing, everybody gets the same. So it's all the lights all the time. And basically, you need a tinted visor to run around here at night.
And Phil should know, because for a very long time he was the voice of Formula One commentary in this area of the world. We are coming down, counting down this first 15-minute session for what will be, I think, one of the most competitive classes throughout the field. Still GT3 to come. We're about 15 minutes behind the scheduled time, Nick Damon, after a quite a lengthy red flag to recover Colin White CWS Ginetta earlier on.
There's been an announcement saying that all sessions will start 15 minutes later than originally billed in the programme. There's been which is fine, because it's not like we're driving into darkness. Is any advantage or disadvantage? The temperature will drop slowly, but as they say, it's the same for everybody. Fabian Dansby getting a little bit closer to him. His lead currently is half a second. We've got 4.5 minutes to go, so there's still a couple of fast ones left. Most of the teams have already done 4 laps, so they're going to end up doing, I think, 6 on these tyres, and possibly even 7. But we're just waiting to see. There is a fast time about to come in from Stephen Gambrell from Arm Motors by HRT Performance. He's green and purple. He was only half a second behind, and he's coming up. And he's in the 931. That's that red and black car on screen. You've got pictures at the moment. Just going around that final double right-hander to end the lap, and he's given up and going to the pits, which is that was a poor decision, to be honest. Because you put all the effort through the tyres and then not bothered to do anything with it. Oh, no, hang on a second. It was a different car.
The 917 out there, Mayor Hartage at the wheel of the Enrico Fulgenzi Racing Porsche, has had 2 turn 1 track limit infringements, but one of them got cancelled, so just on 1 at the moment.
Well, that was an amazing bit of I don't know what happened there. I was watching a car, a red and black car went into pits. It wasn't this car. It actually was Stephen Gambrell. Did complete the lap for the 157.1, so he is just under 0.2 of a second slower than Fabian Dansby, who still holds the overall fastest, and he has actually got into the pit, so it may have been an orange and black car.
He's standing in front
So
of me,
John is
right
down,
now,
waiting for Mr. Dance, the very tall, lanky Mr. Dance, to take off his helmet, and I'm sure we'll grab a chat. Though actually, in fairness, you might want to hold fire, actually, because Steve Gambrell he's gone green in his first sector, so perhaps he can find those 2 tenths in the 931 Motors, and round we go. Is that on start finish?
It looks
For
like
the
yes,
985, it is going again. That's David Van Rosen of Neuhofer Rennsport. Currently, that team is 11th. Luckily, this time he's got going. A little bit more, that's right. He had a little bit more power there to get the tail to whiz around. Otherwise, he's heading straight for the Armco. Interesting, the last time someone was not quite where they should be trying to do donuts on the Armco, it was Lando Norris, who was criticised for not doing very good donuts at the end of the Lando Norris was criticised for everything, but at the end of the day, Australia, Phil, he is world champion.
Yep, indeed.
I'm going to steer you away from that as we're coming to the end of this session. The Red Camel Jordan.nl car is up on its dollies at the moment. Now, if you weren't with us at Malaysia, this car had huge problems with the little bit of plastic on the bottom of the front air dam, and what they've done here is reinforce the edges of that with some gaffer tape. So we've had phone light and we've had gaffer tape. Fabi Dance is out of the car, not all on this one, by the way, I should say. Fabi Dance is out of the car and they're prepping it for the next run. These tyres we've got a red flag on the circuit. These tyres have barely done any work there. That's actually very impressive. So Fabi has done a fast time, and the clock will stop.
Yeah, there's no resuming of this session, John. It's stopped now. There were 2 minutes on the clock. They will not resume the session.
Oh, okay.
Phil is really, it's the 917 who's spun. That's Maya Hartage in the Enrico Fulganzi racing machine, which is down where, Phil? Do you know?
In 10th position.
But whereabouts on the track? I'm using what the track looks like on 6. Okay, which is
turn 6, which is
end of the main straight.
Basically, above her there is a grandstand.
Right.
Okay.
So she's also just sitting there. I don't know whether there's been some. The car looks unmarked.
The aerial view.
So perhaps she's waiting for the AA to turn up at the RAC. She's just pulled up the side of the track and she's got an issue.
Yeah, we definitely won't get this started. We don't have enough time to do an outlap with this as the cars move down. Who was on a hot lap there to see if they can improve?
Sebastian Cribel of the Creventic Sport. He was on double green before he had to pull it in. So that's disappointing for the number 925 car, because they were quite close to pulling their boots over the top 5 or 6.
971, Saif El Amiri, rubbed down by Fulgenzi. He got caught out he was behind the car that spun on the start-finish straight, and he was just starting to get his lap together, and he's got a red flag. Oh, dear.
It's everyone else's fault always.
Exactly.
Again, whilst we couldn't see a problem with the CW's engineering car, and there was a problem, we've seen both sides of this yellow and black 992 machine and 992 Porsche, the 917 car, and there seems to be no issue with it visually.
Visually, the four-way hazard flashes are on, so that may say that it may be an electrical gremlin, but the way that it's parked...
It's not pointing in the right direction, is it?
There's no skid marks.
No.
There's nothing on the circuit, because that red and blue tarmac there is actually roughed up to try and pull the cars up before the Armco. John, have you got something for us down in the pit lane?
With Fabian Dance. By the way, the four-way flashes come on if the car senses an incident on the Cup cars. So I think that's probably what's happened there. Fabian, congratulations. First session, and you topped the times. What were the conditions like out there? Because it's a little bit later than you thought it was going to be.
Yes, I think it has way more grip than in the afternoon session. I'm not sure if I did not go on new tires all day long, and also not yesterday. But I think it's a bit of a mix of the tires and the conditions. It was very good.
Now, this track is all about rhythm, isn't it? How long was it before you got heat in? The front tyres, I presume, are the problems to get heat in here for the Porsche.
Yeah, I think it's from the first corner on, to be honest, because the tires come directly out of the heater, and it's not a problem to heat them up for me. It's pretty easy, yeah.
Now, you've been driving with the Breukers family and Red Camel Jordan.nl for a little while. This class in this race and the race next week, super competitive. You're going to have a heck of a battle, aren't you?
Yeah, but I think we are prepared. We are always prepared. We are always complaining in free practice and in qualifying, and for the race we are always there. And I think also in the back we showed that we are very competitive, and we will just do our thing like always.
What is the key to this category? Because the cars are all the same. There's only so much you can do in terms of tuning the suspension, etc. Is it a mode of driving to keep the tyres underneath it? Is it saving fuel? You tell me.
I think it's just because we have the V8 and not the V6. No, it's. I think it's. We are just a good mix of drivers. We don't have a very amateur driver, like not a very slow driver. We have a good mix of very fast drivers and sustainable drivers, and I think that is the key to it, to be honest.
Yeah, but you're a lot taller than everybody. You should be driving with Luke Hartog. You're the only two that are 6'5" and above. How does that work then with getting in and out of the car?
It's also not a problem. I just slide the seat all the way back and the steering wheel all the way up, and the others are just sliding forward, I guess. So for us, it's not a problem. For me, it's very good. The Cup car is like, with the largest setting, I fit perfectly. So I don't have to care about anything. I just put the steering wheel up and the seat back, and it's perfect.
Well done, Fabi. Is the track going to improve, do you think, throughout the rest of the evening as it rubbers up?
I don't know. I think my teammates will drive even faster, so I will say it's the track, yes.
Yes, exactly. You've done your bit. It's here. There's no dents on it, and you're number one.
Yes, that's good.
Well done, mate. Fabian Dance, 909 Jordan, Red Camel Jordan.nl. And the competition in this 992 category, as we've mentioned, absolutely red.
So yes, after one session, because we're just waiting to get a start time as they they rescued the Armour 7's up and running on its own power again. So interesting. There's been a complete lot of control alt deletes going on there, Phil.
Yeah,
to get the thing up and running. But that means we should get rolling again pretty much on time.
Yeah,
so
once it gets back into the pits, we should be pretty much getting done, because our timing screens have changed over. That session is officially not being resumed. We will move straight into session 2. New Michelin boots on all the cars and new drivers to go and find out what it's like around this 5.281 16 corner Yas Marina circuit Grand Prix configuration.
So it's Red Camel Jordans who are the fastest after that first session, the 909. There's the 931 who are the fastest of the amateurs. That's AR Motors by HRT Performance. Then another amateur car, Chazelle Technology. Then another amateur car in HRT Performance. Another amateur car in QMF by HRT Performance. And then we have the two other pro cars, Razoo More Than Racing in 6th and Earl Bamber Motorsport in 7th. Rabdan by Forgenzi, Seb Ledoux Racing and Enrico Forgenzi make up the top 10. And I assume Enrico going to be allowed to take part again despite causing the red flag, Phil?
Well, yeah, Mayor Hartage is at the wheel and they're going to change drivers anyway. So whether the race direction decided there was a penalty, it may be, let's have a look at what sort of penalties they can do. They can do grid position penalties, etc.
I mean, I think obviously there was it didn't seem like there was any contact with anything.
No,
so
just like maybe a technical issue.
Yeah, electrical it looked like to me.
Yeah,
but,
so hopefully they can get that fixed and get that number 917 out on into this second session, which pit lane is open for.
They're running away. There was 19 seconds have been out and going, so it's all very, very close. The spread is 156.9 from Red Camel Jordans down to 204 from the HRT Performance, but there's actually there's 9 cars within 2 seconds after the first run. And don't forget, if you had an amateur driver, that was who was in the car the first time, whereas of course Red Camels didn't have to put in their any amateur because they're in the pro class.
Yep, and just looking at their class, who is what, as my spreadsheet loads up, and the Red Camel Jordan
and Forgenzi have gone out again, so they are off and running. So whatever was caused the issue for Maya, that is not an issue anymore. Though I've been completely usurped there by a second yellow and black car. That's a different yellow and black car. That's a 930 of X Motorsport by HRT. I'm sorry, but you are not allowed to paint your cars the same colour. It's not fair, but I'm still trying to learn who's who.
Yeah, that's going to be an issue. As
the black one passes the silvery dark one.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're just missing the timing clock at the moment, but I can tell you there's 13:20 to go. as the cars get out. And so we saw an average of 5 laps from most of the field in that first session. So I think that's what we're looking at now, that they'll do. They probably fueled for 15, 16 laps. So we've got a yellow flag at turn number 5.
That's the
hairpin and the northern hairpin.
At the far end of the track, as you would say, before they wind it all up for the big, long
there we go
back straight. And that's why. No, obviously, do you think he was trying to use the old-fashioned sort of like cutout with the chicane? He just wanted to give it a go.
Pascal Duhamel in the 925 Crucible Sport, just getting it with cold tyres.
And if you want, by the way, if you want to see cars using that old chicane, then if you tune into Karting Live TV in the middle of February, they'll be using it as part of the Asmarina round of the UAE RMC. Get me plug in quickly.
Yeah, if you like two-stroke smoke.
Who doesn't? Let's be honest. No one in their right mind doesn't like two-stroke. It's just the pity is now it's synthetic oil, not Castrol R.
I think we've had that spin possibly caused by cold tyres. Now, no tyre blankets. They do have tyre heaters, which is like a fabric-lined box.
It's a reverse refrigerator.
Yeah, reverse refrigerator where they're allowed to put the tyres, but they're not allowed to wrap them in tyre blankets. So they do come out of the box. That's what the drivers that John were interviewing saying, that they come out warmish, but you still got to get them up to their optimum temperature, and a few people are having a few issues getting that temperature into all 4 tyres, or having an imbalance of temperature will cause things as well.
Enrico Fulgenzi Racing has got out. It's Zamin Ali Jaffer who is taking that other yellow and black machine around. Not this one if you've got pictures. It's a different one.
Yeah, Zamin Jaffer, a local boy here in the UAE, has competed in various championships locally, and also the Golf 12 Hour.
It's the 930 Snakes on the heavy braking there. I think there's obviously the ABS cutting in an intermediate way as they come down this second little short straight into turn 9. And they come round, and this is going to be a replay of the 930 having a bit of a braking moment. Yes, no, maybe, possibly no. But, I'm fine. I'm fine. Nothing happened here. New underpants for the driver.
Indeed, change of race suit. Wow.
That is to say, Michael Laboda.
Yeah, interesting point brought up in that interview was that's the first time a lot of these guys have been driving on the new tyres.
Yeah.
Okay, they've all been using old tyres to get through their practice sessions yesterday and earlier on today, so not to scrub anything out. So everybody's experiencing the car in its premium optimum condition. So taking a little while to get used to it and pushing it, seeing how far they can push it.
Yeah. So we got 2 purple sectors from Alessandro Giretti from the Alabama Motorsport car. Luke Brokers has just done a 1:57.2, but a 1:56.5 by Alessandro Giretti, so he's by far the fastest driver we've seen so far in this class. It's also managed to put the 2-driver average better than, sorry, 1:54.8. Sorry, it was unbelievably quick for Giretti. 1:54.8. I'm reading because I've read the average rather than the time. So he's gone something like 2.1 seconds faster than Fabian Dance did. He's gone 3 seconds faster than Luke did, and now they have an average. So the average of the 2 drivers at Alabama Motorsport is 0.7 better than the Red Camels Jordan, who looked untouchable just 3 minutes ago. So Giretti absolutely flying in the Alabama machine.
Yeah, Alabama not known for putting bad drivers behind the wheel, and Giretti absolutely showing that. This weekend, Luke Brokers out in the Red Camel Jordans, Ryan Naker in the ARM by HRT Performance, as Daniel Drexel in the Razoon More Than Racing, and it's a welcome back to racing. Christoph Huber, team manager for Razoon More Than Racing this weekend. Had a great chat with him yesterday about letting go of his Huber Racing team, who won Porsche Super Cup, Mobil 1 Super Cup, and many of the Porsche racing around Europe, and he sold that team and now back with the Razoon More Than Racing.
For the Seb Lejeune racing machine, the AAA was kind of kangaroo petraling out of the corner. Obviously, it's slightly bigger speeds than the Vauxhall Viva from 1974 would go, but it looked awful. It absolutely looked like my second driving lesson when it was coming out of the corner there.
Looked like my 9th.
So just waiting for another lap to be included by Luke, which just coming round to complete the last 2 corners, but he's not really setting the timing. He's greened it, so he's going to go slightly quicker as the Real Camelot Jordan car now comes across the line. Let's see what he actually, would that be enough to improve and put him in back into, it is. So it turns up with a 1:55.7. That's still 9/10 slower than Alessandro Guidetti, but the average, this is where it gets exciting, the average now is 0.2 back in favour of Real Camelot Jordan, which being a 0.2 average means the third driver would need to go 0.4 faster. This is where you need your O-level maths, mate. This is absolutely, key GCSE stuff to smoke out averages.
Yeah, I did A-level porridge, so I got nothing on that. I can't.
See, A-level porridge in the UK, I mean, he went to prison.
Louis Perot with the fastest first sector in the Château Racing 888, one of the cars that's not got a 9 in front of it, and just because that is their team number and been approved by Creventic. And
I think it's the only one actually hasn't got a 9.
Yeah,
I mean, in fairness, the GT3s are all over the shop with numbers because they're supposed to have a 2-digit number, apart from the ones that don't. But we'll worry about that in about half an hour's time when they come out, or 20 minutes time when they come out. This session is halfway through now, and we're about to see a very quick time from Louis Perot and Seb Lejeune Racing. So obviously he's managed to get the fuel sorted out as he came round for a fast flying lap, and he's on camera now. If you've got pictures with the purple 888 machine, he's currently 0.3 of a second faster than that incredibly quick run by Alessandro Guidetti, and he comes under the hotel. And he's going to be turning right now to take the last couple of corners, which of course are turn 15 and 16. Don't go too wide because you can still get track limits on the last corner, which absolutely ruins your following lap as well. But he's just about stayed in position, comes across now, and it's a bit of a slow third sector. A 55 flat for the lap,
in third,
which actually is the second fastest lap we've seen against that 54.89 from Alessandro Guidetti. But he, as you said, absolutely in third overall as a team, taking into account the 2 drivers.
Yeah, the leaderboard is shaking up and down a little bit because it shows on the average rather than the quickest lap that has been done by the car, and so we still have Luke Breukers in the Red Camel Jordans.nl leading the way, 156.168, 156.456 for El Bambo's Motorsport, with Alessandro Guidetti at the wheel, Louis Perot at the wheel of the Seb Lejeune Racing Porsche in third position, leading the AM category from another AM car, AR Motors, which is ARM, based in Dubai. Alex Renner Motors, Ryan Naker at the wheel of that second in the 992 AM, and then Chazelle Technology Course, Jean-Paul Dominici at the wheel in third position in 992 AM.
Another quickest lap for Alessandro Guidetti, but not really, I think a couple of hundredths quicker than before. He's now at 154.746. The 931, that's Ryan Niker on camera at the moment if you've got the pictures. He's just done a 157.2, his fastest lap with 2 greens, green sector 1, green sector 3, not his own fastest sector in number 2, and his average though is 0.7 of a second behind the second place EBM machine, and a second behind on average Luke Breukers, but they are, Ryan Naker and the 931, the fastest of the AM cars as it stands at the moment, with a sea of green on the rest of the timing screen.
Exactly. Loic Breukers has just done track limits at turn 3, so he's lost a lap. Won't take him out of the lead though at turn 3, so he's cut that very wide curb.
Very wide.
Very, very wide curb, turn 3. And so that's done. Just under 4.5 minutes to go. Jean-Paul Dominici in the Chazelle Technology Course, 9:20 into the pits. That's enough for his Q2.
971, Salim Akabetti of Rabdan Belfort Genzi, just about to complete a lap himself in the yellow roof, but with a sort of black edging in the white main body shell for that particular 992. That's a 57.3, which is a very competitive time, but doesn't really catapult the team up. A little bit stymied by the previous driver, but they are now in the quite a big fat mix of people with an average around the 57 to late 57s.
Yeah, that's really showing at the moment, and we're seeing some 57s further down the leaderboard, but it's because...
But they're not averages. It's
the average is out in the twos.
What we have got, obviously, Phil, is a much bigger spread in section 1 because that was the AM drivers, and so you got, we had a 150, we had 204s and that sort of stuff. But now we've got a lot of drivers who know what they're doing, and they're pinging in the 55s, 56s, 57, 58s. It's much closer.
Yeah,
to
down
say
the 14th spot there in the 57.
Ryan Nakis has done a 56 too. Moves the team up in 3rd place, keeps them in the AM lead. But remember, when they line up tomorrow, they will line up in 992 orders. Doesn't matter if you're an amateur or a pro, you will line up. If you're the 3rd fastest, doesn't matter if you're an amateur or a pro, you'll be 3rd on that section of the grid.
He's got 6/10 over the 4th position and the 2nd AM of Sebjali Racing, Louis Perot. So that's a pretty big gap going into Q3.
Now, Luke Broikers, who off that track limits, has pulled the car into the pits.
So 5 laps.
So they've decided that's enough work on the tyres. That'll be Paul Trustwell looking after the tactics. I think some of the other cars I think are going to do. There's a lot of 5s. You're absolutely right. Luis Perot has come in with Seb Lejeune, Jean-Pierre Dominici from Chazelle Technology, and Faisal Ayafe of QMF by HLT Performance. That's the Qatar Motorsport and Motorcycle Federation. Is that way around, Phil? Is that the way QMF?
Yeah, QMF. Motor and motorcycle.
Motor and motorcycle, yeah. I had motorsport motorcycle. I knew it's both, which is obviously I'm very positive about. But then, of course, the Qatar circuit really was initially built for motorcycles. And recently, they've also been enjoying Formula 1.
Yes, they pulled the entire pit complex down and started again. So
because that's where we are in the world.
Well, they had very narrow pit boxes to seat motorcycles.
Yeah,
and somebody. We have great communication with the Qatar circuit. Some very good friends over there who raced here, and they're having the QMMF team here. They're obviously doing Europe series as well, so trying to get out there, and they run some very successful karting championship karting teams over in Europe. So really trying to get the full Qatari driver lineup, which is fantastic. And working very hard. They do have a lot of races. They do have a lot of races at that circuit of world caliber. So Are
there any other circuits in Qatar? Is that the only one?
No, that's the only one.
Not even like Alton Park standard circuits, the more clubby type things.
No, basically that it's like here. You got you got Yas Marina and Dubai Autodrome. That's the only 2 circuits you can race on here if you're a circuit racer. And they're both Grade 1A FIA circuits.
That's it. You got you got 5 in the region with everything else with Qatar and Bahrain and of course Saudi Arabia. We've got 1. I'll have 2 soon.
And Kuwait.
Yep. Oh, of course, Kuwait. Is that correct? Is that A1? Is it?
No, I think it's A2.
A2.
I'll have to check with Carl on that.
More importantly, we are joined by the voice of the UAE RMC. It's Joe Bradley. We were talking about karting. Let's get another advert in. And it's Joe Bradley down with the Sebjali Racing.
Become a stalwart of this series, Sebjali Racing, the Triple Eight in particular. Louis, Louis Perot here. Louis, that time was fantastic. 1:55 is what I saw.
Yeah, it was a good lap. I made a big mistake in my sector 3. It cost us, I think, the pole. But yeah, the lap itself, it be good. Just sector 3 is missing.
That second stint has certainly put the car in a very, very strong position. Your 3rd driver, is he the guy? I mean, he's got the pressure now, putting the car on the pole. Is that the objective?
Yeah, it's our goal. So I think Anthony can do something very great because he do a lot of sim racing and it helps a lot. So yeah.
So what's the key to getting that lap time around Yas Marina then? How did you find it?
You have to find the right speed, not too much in the entry, do the right exit, and I think it will be good.
And the track limits, is there a lot of time in the car if you were able to go over the curbs?
Yeah. You can gain
one of those horrible tracks.
Yeah. You can gain a lot. Yeah. But we keep on the limit.
Well done, Louis. I'll leave you to have a chat to the team. I want to catch a word with your teammate, Stefan. Stefan, it's about the number. Thank you, Louis. Stefan, hello. Great to see you. You guys have kept the 888 number. Was that your choice? Is that your choice?
Yeah. It's
why?
Yeah, why? It's just a good lineup. The average pace is, I think it will be okay. Anthony, it's the first race in the endurance race for him. He have used to drive a cup in a sprint challenge in France. I think he can improve a lot for this race and more for Dubai 24 hours. And we won 992 Cup AMS with him. He's our insurance driver, yeah. And we hope to do more than the Middle East race with this lineup, yeah.
My apologies, Stefan. My Francais is petit. The 888 number. You have carried that 888 number forever.
Forever, yeah. It's my number. It's a perfect number in Asia. Yeah.
Apparently, it's lucky as well.
Yes, lucky number. And yes, when I was young, I see Australian races and hate racing team. Yes, it's And when you grow up, we keep this lucky number. Yeah.
Thank you, Stefan. Well, it's very confusing for us commentators because all the 992 cars carry the number 9. Apart from this one, the 888, and we hope the 888 is very lucky for you going into this third segment of qualifying. Good luck. Great run from these two drivers so far.
Thank you very much, Joe. Let's have a look at the rundown before we get into session 3. It's the Red Camel Jordans.nl leading the way in the 992 category. El Bamba Motorsports in second. AR Motors by HRT Performance third, leading the AM. Sebjulu Racing second in AM, fourth overall. Chazelle Technology Course fifth overall, third in AM. Razoon More Than Racing. Daniel Jaxel was doing that one in the 914 in sixth overall. Seventh, Outright Q MMF by HRT Performance in seventh place. In eighth, it's Rabdown by Fulgenzi. Ninth, HRT Performance. Enrico Fulgento Racing in 10th. Muller Motorsport in 11th. Newhofer Rensport in 12th. X Motorsport by HRT Performance in 13th. Sebjulu Racing in 14th. Norrick Racing by HRT Performance in 15th. HRT Performance in 16th. Great to see Greg Gorski back here. The affable American did a lot of racing here in Radical, and then we have Cribble Sport with Pascal de Hamel at the wheel at that one. And 17th position, brand new drivers, brand new tyres coming your way very shortly for Q3, the final qualifying session for the 992s.
So on the average is a 3/10 gap between Breukers and Guidetti, or Red Camel Jordans and Earl Bamber. That would need a 6/10 improvement. Whoever the third driver for EBM is over what will be, of course, Rick Breukers. That's going to be quite hard to do.
Yeah.
Quite close in the middle of the pack. So, for example, Chazelle Technology, Razoon More Than Racing, QMF are covered by a couple of tenths, so that only needs a 4/10 difference either way. So I think there could be some bottom of the top 10 movement, but it'll be interesting to see. In fact, second and third are quite close as well. So that's, I think that 6/10 and putting Rick in is going to make it unlikely that Red Camels won't pick up the pole, but you never can tell, can you? This is the joy of this three-phase qualifying, and especially as Rick, and hopefully the PA's not on at the moment, is quite prone to the odd track limit issue.
Well, talking about track limits, the 999 car got 2 track limits. The 921 got 1 at turn 16, so lost 2 laps there. 930 got 2, and 985. So 6 track limits in the last 4 minutes. So everybody's they're pushing. They are pushing out there. Up to then, we had no track limits at all. So I expect to see more in this one as the track continues to cool.
We're rolling. More importantly, everyone has come out almost immediately. So they are looking for maximum lap time, or just looking to get their 3 or 4 laps done as quickly as possible.
Yeah, we had a lot of the cars there in that session. Most of them did around 5 laps in that area. They were sort of 5. I think the one that did the most was 7 laps in total. I think the best of your tyres has possibly gone by then, but maybe just just a bit of seat time, just sorting out some niggling issues before they get into the 6-hour race.
Also, if you perhaps tripped the track limits a couple of times, you've got to go out and do an extra lap. So they are now putting that speed into the tyres, trying to get a bit of warmth, getting the fronts and the rears in some form of balance. There's 4 cars going into the far end hairpin.
Well, they've got bigger. The track's really wide because you can go past the edge of the curb, so it's fine.
I suppose if you can find someone who's quite similar in speed to you, then get an excellent tow down the back straight with actual qualifying time.
Yeah, you've got to be careful of that white line. You're not allowed to cross that white line exiting the pits, and that will be a penalty violation here at the Yas Marina circuit.
So just the last couple of cars leaving the pits. There's 3 cars that haven't left. The 971 who's just rolling now. Seb Lejeune has actually, they were leaving as we were speaking about them because they were in the underpass, effectively, which is what it is to get off the track. And Quibel Sport so far are not classed as being on the track. Everyone else is up and running. But obviously with 15 minutes, you've got effectively, I suppose, a maximum of 8 laps, haven't you, you can do in that time. And you don't really want to do 8. You want to do... Well, ideally you want to do 3, but I think that's pushing it a bit with this. Whoa, as Rick gets a massive bit of oversteer. I think that was a bit of right-footed oversteer, pinged the thing round as he went through the beginning of the hotel complex.
He's still warming the tyres up, and it's quite a steep uphill there. It's not shown on the camera. It's actually quite steep uphill, and it does tend to unload that inside rear. And yeah,
that was actually through 6 and 7, that little wobble. 6 and 7 for those of you who are au fait with the Yas Marina circuit. I think we all are au fait with motorsport fans thanks to the Grand Prix. That's the 6 and 7 is the chicane at the end of the back straight. So the bit where people who overtake, and then in the F1, if they're using the DRS cleverly, they then get immediately passed back as on the run down to turn 9.
And it's quite easy to light the tyres up on the exit of that because it comes over a brow. And we've seen lots of Porsche incidents at that corner. As
flashy lights from the 930, and that of course is because he's got 2 cars on a warm-up lap in front of him. I think they've blown his lap there. I don't think he's gained at all. That's Sergei Tidorenko from X Motorsports. I think he's going to be having a bit of a fume, but if he's got any sense now, what he'll do is just pass the traffic, whack it back a bit, take a few degrees out of the tyres because you don't want to be in a full send tyre situation, and then regroup and go back for it again.
An interesting evolution of this circuit. I raced here, and my last race here was 2009, but I just noticed just coming into the braking zone down into turn 6, that car was bouncing up and down on the braking bumps. They've got quite pronounced now after many years of racing around here, and as tracks evolve, so do the bumps evolve.
Yeah, absolutely.
And everybody, as you come back year from year, you start to see things. Dubai Autodrome, we're there next weekend for the 21st running the Michelin 24 Hours of Dubai, and I've noticed that after racing there since 2006.
Tracks are living things.
They are, and it's built on sand.
You stick a load of tarmac, obviously very thick. You're not just rolling down 2 inches. But it's going to move around. Obviously, the biggest track for that, of course, is Circuit of the Americas. Circuit of the Americas, which they kind of gloss over the fact it was built in a landfill, and the land is so unstable that they're having to shave it and resurface it all the time. Not for it's worn out, because the thing it becomes a roller coaster.
I've got some penalties that have just been brought up for the TCE and TCX GT4 class. The 451 not qualifying with different drivers in Q1, 2 and 3, drop of places on the grid. The 178, remember they had 10 laps on their tyres? No tyre change during the qualifying
the 451 is that Audi which didn't go out, so they're dropping from last to last.
But the 178, the Ginetta, remember it had 10 laps up? They didn't change tyres.
That's also going from last to last because of course they didn't compete in 3 sections. So
they saved a set of tyres.
So they saved a set of tyres, but they're in trouble.
They're in trouble with the headmaster.
Okay, fastest lap has been set by this is Alessandro Gueretti again. It can't be Gueretti in the EBM Motorsport.
Well, they haven't changed the driver.
They haven't changed the drivers, which will get you in trouble. But it is the EBM car. It's a 154.3, 154.7 for Rick. That's going to make the average between them now is just 700ths of a second. But we don't know who is in the 952. Perhaps Joe can find out for us, as Gueretti has not turned the. Well, let's hope it's not Gueretti because that's against the rules.
Well, yes.
You can't run two consecutively. Even 2 of you.
The driver ID switch, which is mandatory, and there's a big sign at the end of the pit lane.
Change your driver ID. Yeah,
exactly.
So they need to sort that one out.
Yep.
Igor Sorokin from IRM Motorsports, he's done a 58, but despite that being quite slow, he's still managed to keep himself in the averages. It surprised me that's kept him in the averages in third place, I'll be honest with you, that one. And then you've got the 155.2 from Felix Neuhofer from his eponymous team, Neuhofer Rennsport. And then Paul Meyer, who is a very, very quick and talented Porsche driver in the Muller Motorsport number 921. He's on a 155.4 in his first flying lap.
Just having a look, we've got some more penalties coming through. And GT3 Poland, the GTX, the Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo, once again, the driver must have done consecutive laps because they've got consecutive sessions because, remember, there's only 2 drivers in that car, but one of them did consecutive sessions rather than splitting it. So a penalty coming for GTX. There's only 3 cars in the class, but the penalties have been promulgated. The actual penalty, whether it's grid drop or whatever, hasn't been announced yet. It's just been popping up on the screens.
Seb Lejeune late to the party, but they have now joined this final session of qualifying with Triple A Anthony Vance taking off that. So it's interesting to know what is going, because if it's Giletti in the EBM, then they're out because he's run 2 back-to-back.
Yeah.
So that's not no, 952 is not a 2-car entry, is it? I need to find the piece of paper.
952, no. That 952 is Josh.
No, there are 2 drivers, but they shouldn't have run together. Joe, to you.
All right. Okay.
No, I thought Joe was going to come in then. He just said something to me on the mic. So they've made a mistake then.
Yes.
Rather than going Gueretti, Berry, Gueretti, they've gone Berry, Gueretti, Gueretti.
Yes.
Which is, if we read the
regulations
correctly, that means they will be put to the back, despite the fact they're currently running second.
Yep. Joe, you got something for us?
Yeah, I've actually got. I know we're going to break away from the 992 class for just a second, but deservedly so, because this car behind us has been put in the TC class to, I think, confuse us. It's a Porsche, of course, and Marco Grilli here is one of the drivers. Marco, fantastic achievement to be on the class pole position. Is everyone in the team very pleased?
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a great day. For me, it's the first time here, first time in a GT4. Never driven here, never done a race. I started last year.
So here at Yas Marina as well, what a track.
Yeah, a great track with the ambience is crazy. With all the lights, all the peoples, the crazy cars outside. And yeah, I really like it. I love it.
Well, for a beginner, you guys have done well, you especially, Marco. You were part of that team to get the pole time. Tell me about your lap and how the pole position came.
Yeah, I started yesterday with 213 high, and then try to fix every corner a little bit, working with the track limits, so keep on pushing. And my goal is every lap I take 3 points. I want to get better, and then next lap other 3 points, and so I get now 208, so 5 seconds. It's nice. I'm not the fastest in our team. Don't want to get some credit for things I didn't done, but I'm really, really happy.
So your engineer must be happy with a 5-second gain from just yourself as the driver.
Yeah, I think he's happy too. The whole team is happy.
And what about the race? What's the thoughts going forward?
Sorry?
What are your thoughts going forward into the race?
Yeah, I think keep on the pace. So
another 5 seconds?
Oh, no. It depends on the traffic. It's very difficult to drive with the GT3 cars. They are crazy fast. They're passing you on the left side, on the right side. So you always keep one eye in the mirror. But without some traffic, like the qualification laps, you can build some pace. And I think this is a good experience to keep going in the race tomorrow.
Well done, Marco. Congratulations. We'll see you on pole position on the grid tomorrow. Well done.
That's the Asbest Porsche, who's the top of the TCE class. Alexander Gueretti and Rick Broikers both took cool-down laps last time round, going around in 2:04 and 2:03 respectively, against their fast times about 10 seconds quicker. Ramping it up again now with the fastest overall sector in Sector 1 for Gueretti. But I think we've decided, haven't we, that he's going to get himself kicked out anyway.
Yeah, there might be an issue there with that two-driver team, and that has come to the notice of the officials. So we'll just leave that be at the moment. Remember, we'll be back on air, I think, around about 2 o'clock tomorrow.
I think we actually come on air, I think, at about 2:25, 2:26.
So
local time, obviously.
With the fantastic grid walk, or hopefully 60 cars. Before we get underway at 3 p.m. for the 6th running of the Michelin 6 Hours of Abu Dhabi. And it's going to be a starting in daylight, finish under lights.
So another lap in the books, 54.8 for Rick Breukers and a 54.6 for Alessandro Guidetti, both of them a couple of tenths off their overall best. We've now got a 154.69, which is 600 of the best of this particular part 3 of the session, and that's from Christopher Zochling of Rabdan by Forganzi, who's moved them up to the top of the AM class into 3rd place with a 9.71. Waiting for a time from Anthony Vance. He's had a relatively slow initial lap, but he is a couple of seconds, about 6 minutes behind actually in the tyre warm-up. That car going out quite late for Seb Lejeune.
Yeah, Christopher Zochling is a local here. Done a lot of racing in this region. Worked with him during Formula 1 days. And knows this track incredibly well. They're still really having trouble getting, whether the tyres are peaking and then coming back off again. As we saw at the last one, lots of track limits at the end where everybody is pushing. Got just over 2.5 minutes to go. Rick Breukers has around just under a 10th lead from Guidetti, who's under suspicion.
Guidetti's doing another slow one.
Yeah,
whether that's it and he's pulling it in at this point, or whether he's going to give it another final push, because there is 2 minutes 20 to go. So he'll get round for one more if he wishes to take the one more. Breukers himself is also not going particularly quickly in this one, so whether he's coming in the pits, they're also going to go for one more flyer. Hopefully, you would think that with Paul Trustwell there, Paul will have noticed that there's going to be an issue as the little flappy nose effectively on that 914 coming towards us on the camera. You can see the pictures of Vladislav Lomko of Razum More Than Racing. There was a real lift up there of the front of the bonnet or hood, depending where you are, but of course there's no engine underneath there, just radiators.
Yeah, it's the brute, or as I call it. It's a boot bonnet.
Brute bonnet.
Brute bonnet, yeah. RM Motors, currently Igo Sorkin at the wheel of the 931, working with HRT Performance. Alex Renner, who runs that, we'll see him behind the wheel at the 24 Hours of Dubai next weekend. Currently in 3rd. Personal best in Sector 1, 25.08. He's got a massive amount of traffic coming as he comes down towards turn 6. And some of them may be on cool-down laps with just on a minute to go. So he wants to try and get this lap through. He needs to make up, once again, there's 1/10 of a second between Guidetti and Breukers.
Breukers and Guidetti have both pulled in and both given up.
This is the chance, but he's also he's leading the AM category at the moment.
It's interesting when they don't get their driver combinations correct. It says grid place drop. It doesn't define how many grid places they're dropping.
That's with all of them at the moment, so they'll determine that. Boy, he had to back out of it then. Unfortunately, he was on an absolute flyer, but he got held up by the 928.
Once you get in that complex, once you go past sort of 10 and 11, there's not an awful lot you can do. If someone's on their own fast lap that isn't fast enough for your fast lap, it's just one of those things that calling those bad luck.
Yeah, bad placing for, Taku Bamba wasn't at fault for that. He was just there in the Norwich Racing by HRT Performance for Porsche, currently 11th in the AM, 15th overall. Let's see what Sorokin can do.
Well, he can have one more go, because
he's going to get it
6 seconds. He can have another go if he wants to. Sorokin, he's done 7 laps already, so they're not so bothered about tyre wear.
whether he's got enough left in those tyres, is he really had to pull that car onto a sharper line through turn 12.
Necessarily think he's got enough pace to actually usurp second or third. Not only really needs to, actually, because second I think it's going to usurp itself.
He had a tank slapper at turn 3 there. I don't think that's going to do his lap time any good.
So disappointing times for Paul Meyer from Michelin Motorsport. I think he's had only 1:55.2 and then a very couple of slow laps and an early stop. So they probably decide that they are the slowest of the pros, and they'll just live with that and run with unused tyres, effectively, or much less used tyres. So that's a surprisingly poor performance by Michelin. They're down in 9th, 4th of the pros and last of the pros, and actually behind 5 of the amateurs. So, but you're going to get that in a very tight qualifying. If one small thing goes wrong and you've got so many fast and very effective cars near you, it's going to be doubly counting. As
he's backed it off now.
So Igor's given up. The 888 went past him, and that is Anthony Vance, who has got a green sector 1, and by his headlamp action is still on it.
Indeed, heading down to turn 9. Everybody's
not quite where he wanted to be, but the car got out of the way, so that was okay.
And a green sector 2 as well. Just under a 10th between him and the Enrico Fugenzi Racing 4th and 5th. So
he came in. There was always little problems. He went out, then came in. So he ended up being a couple of minutes behind, being fine, went out again. So they came in and adjusted something. He's 8/10 slower than the fastest we've seen so far after 2 sectors. He's got this final third sector to do as he squirts up towards the final 2 corners of 15 and 16 and sweeps round to finish qualifying effectively for this 992 class. And what will his time be, Phil?
Well, we'll find out very, very shortly. 1:58.787 keeps him in 4th position.
Yeah, he didn't actually get past. So 7th overall. He's behind 3 of the pros, and he will start as the 7th Porsche on the grid. He will start ahead of the 4th pro car, so that's... They did get past Enzo Fulganzi Racing in that one. So the 992 class is headed by Rick Broikers. It's currently got Alessandro Goretti in 2nd. He won't stay that way, I don't believe. And then it's the Arm Motors by HRT in 3rd and Rabdan by Fulganzi in 4th. HRT Performance 5th, Razan Molen Racing 6th, Sebelju, who we are looking at now with their purple machine, they are in 7th, and then the 2nd Enrico Fulganzi machine is down in 8th with Michelin Motorsport, Chazelle Technology Course taking up top 10. So that's the end of qualifying for 992. And we're looking to get the class pole, I would think. And he said, look, the class pole, there's a kind of an angled shot, and then you're going to come into view. It's going to be Joe Bradley.
Rick Broikers here, who has just finished the car and clinched the 992 pole, have been standing here watching that screen, waiting for that checkered flag, Rick. You guys were fastest in the first segment, you were fastest in the second, and you've just clinched it.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall we did a good job. We could have been a bit quicker at some of the sessions, but the overall average time was the fastest, and that's what counts.
Yeah, that is what counts. It's all a team effort. Now, as ever in racing, we think about the next session, and that next session is 6 hours long, Rick. Can this car be as quick as it has been in qualifying for that 6 hours is the question.
We hope so. I mean, we have a driver lineup of 4 drivers, so in the end, the averages need to be good enough to win the race, and that will be a challenge. But overall, our team is doing a great job so far this weekend. So we're going to give everything tomorrow and see where we end up.
We've got cars with only 2 drivers here, Rick. You guys have chosen 4. This is a question perhaps for Paul Truswell, your strategist. Is that going to complicate it by having as many as 4 drivers, do you think, or have you guys already spoken about this?
Well, I think for sure it's a benefit to have just 2 drivers. It makes it a lot easier to set up the car. It gives a lot more driving time to each driver. But yeah, I mean, we always drive with this driver lineup. We are used to driving in the same car. So for us, it works well. And yeah, we see tomorrow.
We will see tomorrow. Well done, Rick. Congratulate you and all of the team. Greg Camel's on the pole position in 992.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Rick. Let's have a look at the results. 909 leading the way. Red Camel Jordans in first position in Pro as well. 952 El Bamba Motorsports in second. And ARM Motors HRT Performance in the third position leading the AMs. Rabdan by Fulgenzi in fourth, second in AM. HRT Performance 932, third in AM, fifth overall, sixth overall in Pro. Resume More Than Racing in the 914. 888 in the Sebjori Racing in seventh position, fourth in the AMs, and then the Enrico Fulgenzo Racing in eighth position, fifth in AM. Ninth position is Molnar Motorsport, the 921. The 920, the Chazel Technology Course in 10th position, sixth in AM. New Offer Motorsport in the 985 is seventh in AM, and then in 12th position, X Motorsports by HRT Performance, the 930 in the AM, 14th overall. 15th, Taku Bamba took the final session for Norwich Racing by HRT Performance. 16th position, it was HRT Performance, and in 17th, the 925 of Crucible Sport overall, and 13th in AM. That is how they will line up tomorrow for the Michelin 6 Hours of Abu Dhabi. Coming up, 1850, the green, we're already green, and the GT3...
We're a minute and 8 seconds in.
Yeah, and they're already
the GT3.
out there.
Actually, I've got a couple of little people who've been with us the entire broadcast. I've got a couple of updates of important things. Do you remember the brown and black bird with the yellow beak we were looking at? It's not a member of the crow family. It's a common myna, MYNA, a member of the sternid family, like a starling.
Okay. So
it's a kind of a multicoloured starling, and the earliest someone can see purely cosmetic carbon fibre was actually, believe it or not, in the McLaren F1 back in 1992. So that's so Chris Suzuko. Thank you, Chris Suzuko. Chris Suzuko.
Thank you, Chris.
We're running the numbers there with Chris Suzuko. Chris Suzuko and Ian McCarthy for that information. So that's a sum up of the questions we've asked as a team of commentators, answered by the collective. Thank you very much. And now it's over to the qualifying for the massive, impressive 30-car field GT3 class.
9 GT3, 9 GT3 Pro Am, and 12 Am. This is going to be epic.
The pro teams who will have 3 pros are going to have a big advantage in this first session. But at that point, where the fastest... Where?
On the front right-hand, left-hand corner of that car.
Oh, yeah. He's got Louise Clips. He's got in the back of someone.
Has he hit something in the tunnel?
No, he's got in the back of someone, hasn't he? Possibly in the tunnel, but he's got in the back of someone.
Oh, yeah.
Good spot, Phil.
I'll give that one to the director, because I heard it.
Well, you spotted it on the camera. I didn't see that. I didn't see it on the camera. So now what the director now needs to find is a car with damage on the rear right, because he's pinged him up the backside. I don't think it's that one. That's just that's not what it is. So yeah. So don't forget, we expect to see one of the pro cars set the fastest time in this session. However, once we get the next 2 sessions, because there are pro drivers smattered amongst the other cars, could be any of the cars can set the fastest time.
Well, that's true. And will they have the same sort of 5 laps maximum on a set of tyres? Have they fueled for 15 laps? But obviously, John said the Porsches are a bit frugal. These things are not frugal at all.
Well, so let's have a quick chat down with Joe, who's talking to one of our drivers yet to take part in this session.
I've got Dean Arrow here, who's... Dan Arrow, sorry. Where'd I get Dean from? Dan Arrow here. Dan, every time I've looked at the timing screen during our practice sessions all week, there's been a Windward Mercedes, 2 Windward Mercedes at times, at the top of those screens. Can you guys do it this time?
I think we did a lot of practice here with the Gold 12 hours. We're looking strong, and let's see what we can do.
Well, that is a very conservative answer at this stage of a qualifying session. When are you in the car, Dan?
I'm in now for Q2, and then Mauro follows Q3. Sergey is doing his best. We'll be watching him, and he didn't get a lot of laps in the Golf, but I'm sure that we had a good rest. We both just woke up from a nice nap, so we're reset and ready to extract the maximum out of our package.
Everyone in Europe's going to hate me saying this, but it's got a bit chilly this evening. A lot chillier than it has been, when the sun is blazing. Does that affect bringing the tyre up to optimum?
Yes, we see it, of course. It's actually, for me, the first time on the Michelin. We see it compared to other compounds we run with, that you need more time to get it to switch on, but once it's there in a more sustainable long-term way than the other tire manufacturers. So it's a pleasure, and also the cold temperatures help us with a bit of more power.
So this tyre doesn't have an optimum lap, and it's not going to come on just one lap. You've got a selection of laps to go for.
You have more laps than we're used to, let's say it that way. That's which makes it easier to drive. It's a more drivable tire and allows more opportunities. With the large field and traffic, it's a luxury.
Thanks for talking to us, Dan. I'll leave you to go and do your prep, and good luck for the rest of the session.
Time's coming in thick and fast as the cars complete their first couple of laps. The best we have at the moment is a 52.2 from Anthony McIntosh in the WRT BMW. He's got Jordan Bolson, the TFT Racing Mercedes, behind him with another 52.8, and a 53.2 for Thomas Kiefer. But all by about 2 of the numbers I can see on the timing are green or purple. So we are very much in a warm-up phase, both for these cars and for what was going to be a pretty impressive, I would think, 3 15-minute sessions.
Unbelievable. I'm looking at the track map at the moment, and it's absolutely full of cars.
Well, it's a good point, though. In the film, you know, normally they're probably used to having perhaps 9 or 12, and therefore you've got a separation. You can have a separation of 300 metres between each of you. Suddenly you've got 30. You are going to have to really think about managing traffic.
Yes, and 3 different classes to run with as well. So you go
and also, as we discussed, with the biggest time differentiation in this first one.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. They're into the 52s at the moment. We see in practice during the day, we saw the 51s. Looking at last year, the fastest lap in the race was a 52.089. We can't sort of compare for qualifying times as a Ferrari takes the entrance to the hotel. But we can't compare qualifying times to last year due to the fact last year they had to use the same tyres for all 3 sessions. So what we're seeing, and especially when we get to Q3 on this one, light fuel and the pros on the fresh Michelin tyres, well, that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it's moving already. We're just seeing people changing. We've got an R52.2 has come from Anthony McIntosh, going to be a bit quicker again. But the fastest sector 1 for Jean Jacques in the Optimum Motorsport McLaren. And there's a bit of a spread. But we have the first 11 within 1.8 seconds at the moment, but I think that's going to gradually improve as still all bar a few bits and bobs are in green. And the 30 cars, we've got race times, proper race times set by 23 of them. Slowest those 23, well, least quick is Ajit Kumar in the Ajit Racing Red Hat Racing machine. He's got a 1:58. That's hardly a disgraceful time for someone on the amateur side. It's a very good time, to be honest, at the 1:58. So he is green as well in his following lap. So he's putting in some extra pace, Ajit there. So much he's done on 1:57.2, so he's found virtually a second on his second lap. And that's what you need to do, work up slowly, get the tyres come in, and also realise that if you are the amateur driver, you are not going to go fast as Anthony McIntosh and Antares O, and don't worry, and they're not your challenge.
Yeah, purple first sector for the 39 car.
He's picked up traffic in the second sector.
He's backed out of it now. Yep, and running currently in 5th. Zhang Yaqi in the Optimum Motorsport McLaren.
Yeah, he's basically gone right. Okay, I've picked up traffic. What I will do now is give myself some space from that traffic.
Yep, 40 seconds.
Which probably needs to be 4 or 5 seconds minimum.
Yeah.
If it's one of the core amateur drivers behind you, ahead of you. Sorry. And now go for it again. Hopefully the tyres will still be there for that fast time. And that's the 39 car, which is dropping down, is Zhang Yaqi, because obviously other people did get a time in that time.
Yeah.
Ralph Bond from Herbert Motorsport, first lap in the 91. Ralph, who's been with this championship as long as we have, 14 years and more, and in the Herbert team with the Renault brothers, who I shockingly found out have both, well, obviously both, they're twins, have both turned 40 in the last few months.
Oh, wow.
The Renaults are 40 years old. Nightmare for people who are much, much older than Renaults.
They were pup Cups.
I know, but they've got, so anyway, so we've got at the front, we have a fastest second sector by our current leader, Anthony McIntosh. We have two personal best, Fantaris Au, who is the currently second, and Ralph Bond started with the green. We've got, it's all over. Oh, Jordan Boisson in the TFT Racing Mercedes AMG has gone with 52 flat, and he's taken the overall top position, despite the fact he is purple overall, despite not setting an individual purple sector.
Interesting, very interesting indeed. Yeah, that's Tony McIntosh driving the Team WRT car. Only BMW in the field, which is a little unusual, but it's from WRT, so
yeah. I mean, traditionally the world of Creventic has been a Mercedes and Porsche stronghold.
Yes,
we've had quite a few Audis, but obviously the lack of Audi customer support development, so there's less of them. We've actually still got 3 or 4 here, but they've dropped off. But yeah, so it's not often. We haven't had a huge amount of McLarens. We've had a few.
We've got 2, I think, in this race.
Yeah, we've always had the odd Lamborghini. Often the odd Lamborghini from ARC Bratislava in there as well, but
true.
Or Lippert. So there's been a couple of big Lambo teams, but it's been, even back 14 years ago when it was the Mercedes Gullwing, and obviously it's the Porsche 911, but like 14 generations ago.
Yeah, well, looking back to the first 24-hour race in Dubai, that was the BMW.
Yeah, well, I remember we came. It was the Z, wasn't it? The Z GT3 thing.
The
Z3, yeah.
The Z3 with a stonking great V8 motor in it, and driven. It was a Red Bull sponsored car, and driven by Toto Wolff.
A little bit of it, yeah. I remember the first time we came out, I think it was Claudia Herken was still running, and she was running in that, but they didn't win that year, but they were doing all right. I think Jürgen Muller was in it as well.
Yeah, had a pretty
always good for a laugh in 2012, whenever that was.
Yeah, it was. We saw Claudia out here many times and on the podium as well. She's a fantastic racer in endurance motorsport.
We've got the 51, and the 51 has been made by one of those Lamborghinis. Phil Thomas Kiefer does a 51.7, and not to be outdone, Renat Salikov in the women racing does a 51.8. So 2 in the 51s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the 52s. Now, interestingly, that includes an AM driver in Zaniaki in the Optimum, and 2 Pro-Ams, so therefore they should be the AM driver of those 3, or at least the lowest rated driver of those teams, and they're putting in some pretty quick times. So Jordan Boisson, obviously, we are assuming that the people have read the rule book correctly.
Yes.
Because we've seen some misreads already so far.
Yeah, maybe it's written in English, maybe English not the first language. But we always do have some issues with that. But there's always...
You're very generous.
There's always people to ask, and Creventic run a complete open door policy, but just downstairs from where commentating in the Global Broadcast Centre. And any questions, they are more than the team at Creventic, more than happy to help you. Their job is to help you race, and that's been their ethos, and it's been a fantastic ethos as we got cars starting to pit now with 2.5 minutes to go.
This is Ralph Bond in the... no, he's not. He's carrying on going. I thought Ralph was going to pull him. He's peeled out for now. He's done a slow one. Now he's going to go out for a quicker one. Bond with a 1:55.8. That's 4 seconds off. We have had Jordan Boisson from TFT Racing currently in 3rd. Anthony McIntosh currently in 15 WRT, and Antares out currently in 7th from her. But they've all parked up for this first session, which actually has 2 minutes and 10 seconds still to run. Plenty of green knocking around. Had a good lap time, 1:53.5. Just that last time round by Continental Racing by Simpson, the Audi of Alexander Novichov.
Andrew Gilbert's just done his fastest lap, the Optimum Motorsport McLaren. So still a few quick laps coming in.
But they are now, interesting, getting down to the 5th and the 6th lap, and it seems, despite the fact that the track density's gone down because people are pulling in, perhaps those tyres are literally, you are not going to get more than lap 4 out of them and still be absolutely on the top of them, because Ralph Bond who's at the start of his lap, he's not greening it, so he's... you've got 4 laps and done, Phil.
Yeah, Thomas Kiefer did the same in the Lippert Motorsport Lamborghini, currently on top of the timesheets. Yeah, 23.607 for Sector 1. So that's not... Jordan Boisson in the TFT Racing Mercedes, fastest Sector 2 for him, and currently in 3rd. Also for Ralph Bond in the Herbert Motorsport Porsche, and fastest sector for him, which will probably be their penultimate lap. They should get around in time to get one more lap in, as we're under 1 minute to go in session 1 for GT3.
So now the top two are still just rolling their way back into the pits. 46 seconds to go. It's difficult to really kind of work out who's flying and who's not, you know, who's just going okay, because we haven't really seen the kind of the stagger of drivers has to unwind. We've got 17 teams under 154 for their fastest time, so they've all going to be in with a chance depending on how everything else shuffles out.
Yeah.
Just seen a fastest sector 1 set by Oscar Riendetz, sorry, from Dragon Racing. I have to get a how do I pronounce that name? Rinzewitz. I knew I got that last part wrong. So Rinzewitz, thank you. But he has got a purple sector 1, so that's come from nowhere in the Ferrari for Dragon Racing.
Yep, the number 88 car, locally.
I think here he comes. If you got the screens, he's coming towards you now. Goes past the.
He may be in a little bit of trouble because he doesn't have his lights on, and the lights on sign has been illuminated on the start-finish straight. So Oscar may face a little bit of trouble.
I'm not sure whether he's got actually.
No, there's no tail lights on either.
But Thomas Kiefer of Leipert Motorsport has just taken that fastest sector 1 off him. So he's not giving up.
Oh, he did a cool-down lap and he got back into it again.
And doesn't look to me like the Dragon machine's going particularly quickly at the moment. I think they've, despite that stunning first sector, he's may well be pulling in at the end of this one. The 88 is behind him, and that's coming in. Yeah, Oscar has come in like we thought he would do. Yeah.
We've got an incident involved with car 87 at 56 at turn 6 has been noted. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that one. So a couple of cars coming together.
And it's now time to go down to Joe.
Anthony McIntosh has just gotten out of the 669 WRT BMW. Anthony, engine at the front of this BMW M4. Take you back to your Mazda days. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. In fact, Mazda is really where I learned how to start racing, and it was such a fantastic series. You know, it's weird because in Mazda you go up against all the newcomers, all the young kids, all the silvers trying to make their name. So for a bronze driver to start there, it was about as good a place as you could start and see everything you were going to see.
It is quite a series, that Mazda MX-5 series in the United States, of course. Bringing us up to date, that first segment of qualifying for the WRT BMW, are you happy with that?
Well, you always want to be P1, right? But, like, I think for me, coming here and I'm with a new team, we're getting ready for WEC. And so for me, it's a chance to gel with the team. They get to learn me. We have to learn each other's tire pressures. So I'm super happy with how this entire thing has gone so far, and I look forward to a good, solid year.
The past few seasons, Anthony, you've been mid-engine Lamborghini Trofeo. How quickly did you get on terms with the complete different balance in this car?
I would say the BMW GT3 car is phenomenal to drive. It's very comfortable. When you're driving a Super Trofeo car, mid-engine car, it will turn and it's great, but when it's not great, it's really bad. So with the BMW and, the front-engine cars, there's a lot of finesse there, and I think that rounds out my driving, and it has air conditioning.
The tabloid papers in my head have been putting this car as one of the favorites. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but when you see the driver lineup, people like Dan Harper, does that add a pressure to you coming to a weekend, being, not the underdog, one of the teams expected to be running first?
No, not really. I mean, WRT has a long history of always winning, so anytime you're wearing that team color, you're expected to win, no matter who you are.
You put yourself under pressure by signing up, didn't you?
Yes. But that's what I wanted. I think for me, I want to race with an amazing team, with amazing people all around me, and I want that for me to strive to elevate myself.
First time at the track?
No, second time at the track.
It is a great facility, isn't it?
Oh, it's one of the best, yeah.
Thanks for talking to us, Anthony. Just out of the car. He hasn't even got his hands to fight off. That's how obliging Anthony was there. And as he said, WRT got to be one of the favourites in this BM.
And of course, they're stunning use of the rear view camera there. So.
Yes.
He's creating art. I was sitting there, given the fact I was surprised you let him do it, given the fact you very prominently told me you never use reversing cameras. He was sitting there going, am I in the lines or not? I said, look at the picture. I went, I don't use those.
The lights on the W Hotel are lighting up. Thomas Kiefer taking the honours in session 1 in the Lamborghini Leipert Motorsport from Sergei Solarov, Winwood Racing. and Mercedes AMG, and then the second Winwood car, Renat Salikov, at the wheel behind that as well. Oh dear. Oh dear. Jordan Boyce.
Everyone's a comic.
TFT Racing in 4th position, first in Pro-Am, second in Pro-Am, and 5th overall. Herbert Motorsport in the Porsche. BMW Team WRT, we just heard from them, in 6th. In 7th, Optimum Motorsport, McLaren, and with their AM car leading that, and then their Pro car was in as well in 8th position. Herbert Motorsport, Porsche in 9th. Dragon Racing in 10th position, and Razoon Morton Racing in 11th. Continental Racing by Simpson in 12th. Herbert Motorsport in 13th. That's the 269 car. Enrico Fulgenzi Racing in the Porsche, the 17, 14th, and also they'll be in their Pro-Am and Am categories. Team Motor Park in 15th position, and Barron Motorsport in 16th. Origin powered by CC in 17th position. 18th 22 of Win Here Origin Motorsport in the Pro-Am 6th, 18th overall. Haas RT rounding out 19th and 20th as the cars are already heading out onto the track for session 2.
Rolling out, and Team W2 we heard for, I've got some bloke called Dan Harper in the car. I've heard he's quite good in that the Soul, as we said, GT3 BMW. There's a little bit, few cars gone out early. There's a little bit less, as you can see from the pit lane shots. You're looking at pictures. There's a number of cars just sitting there waiting to get their tyres on. I think now they've realised that you've got 5 laps max. They've got quite a panic to go out for 15 minutes.
Exactly, because pretty much everybody did the 5 laps, and we worked out that once you got to the 6th one, you were, by the end of that 6th lap, especially when you get into sector 3, the tyres just weren't there where you needed those right-hand tyres, because the left-hand tyres, because you've got 3 right-handers, and they're just not in the window.
No, I'm not. It's interesting. Now, going out first might have been a good idea. It wasn't the fact that so many cars haven't come out at all.
Yeah.
And you're going to end up trying to lap people on their warm-up laps.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, not lap, you know, and get past people on their warm-up laps. They appear to, after the number of people being caged there on their phones. That is the Optimum McLaren.
There's a fair bit of gravel up on the apex of turn 3 there, which is probably getting the driver's attention.
People have been off the track a few times at some point.
I think so, in there.
Going round 5, and then you splat it down the back straight. Obviously, there's a slight drift to the left because the track moves away from you. There's less track towards the end.
There is. Puts you into the funnel, as it's called. There's more cars heading on their out laps now.
Yeah, the track map is looking quite busy.
Yes.
So there needs to be, this is the point, there needs to be some cooperation between the people who are warming up and the people who are going on a full power lap. I'm not sure that always happens, but let's see what we can do. Back with that Optimum machine. Actually, not the Optimum machine, it is the Optimum, yeah, that's sort of the McLaren. They're about to start another lap. And let's nip down to Joe with a man who's going to bring more people through the door than even Phil will tomorrow.
Ajit Kumar just got out of the car after the first segment. How was the session for you, Ajit?
I'm pretty happy with my first ever qualifying GT3 class. So could have been better, but can't complain.
You were a racing driver now, I'm afraid. It was always going to be always better. Tell me, what was the session like for you on this track?
Firstly, wonderful circuit, very well lit, so it makes our job a lot more easier. And of course, like the Asian Series, I would consider it like a home race for me, be it Malaysia, Dubai, or Abu Dhabi. You know, so it's nice to see there's a lot of interest, among fans. It's good for the sport, right?
Yeah, it is absolutely. We get football-sized crowds here when you appear in the Middle East.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to all the fans for showing up and supporting us.
Tell me, did you learn anything that you didn't know in that qualifying session?
Sorry, come again?
Did you learn anything in that session about how to drive the car that you didn't already know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the weather conditions play a very important role, right? I mean, our timings are a lot better in the evenings compared to the daytime. and of course trying to, with the number of cars taking part in this, almost 60 cars, right? So getting used to traffic is one thing which is, I think, welcome. Getting used to dicing with all the other cars of different classes. It's good, learning a lot. And I have a great team supporting me, so what else can I ask for?
Well, Mr. Kumar, you never stop learning. Keep on learning. Thank you for talking to us. Best of luck. Ajit Kumar.
And literally the star of the show in many ways. And am I right? They've had to strengthen the grandstand at Dubai because he's going to turn up. Is that what you were saying? If I misinterpreted what you said?
No, they stress tested it because of the crowd jumping up and down last year, and we've got a big guests here this weekend will be in the grandstand opposite the pitch, so they'll be able to see him when he comes out. He was so kind yesterday. We were sitting outside, the entire commentary team was sitting outside, and he came up and wished us compliments of the season. We treat him as a racing driver because, you know, he's doing the hard yards.
I'll tell you what, though, he showed me what real stardom was last year. I'd never seen stardom like it. No. You know, we think we know what stardom is by watching, you know, a few pampered actors on a red carpet, but that is stardom. That is adoration, the whole lot. Dan Arrow, who had the fantastic privilege of speaking to Joe a second ago, has used that to channel his inner super speed racing driver and done a 150.9 to put that Winward Racing team overall top. But the fastest lap we currently have is a 150.7 from Jaden Kelly with the 74 Optima Motorsport McLaren. His teammate Liu Kai-shun in the other Optima Motorsport car, that's the 39 there in third. He's on a 151.9. And Dan Harper, who started off with two purples, must have lost some pace somewhere along. He did 153.7. So I think that was probably what's calling as Mr. Traffic got in the way, because Dan was out there quite early when everyone else was pushing along. Dan, we're on board with at the moment on the video stream.
Yeah, Melbourne Clean's gone to the top in TFT racing, a 154.42.
Fastest we've seen by anybody.
Yeah, on the second lap.
And the second flying lap, so third lap overall. Yeah, so
that is impressive. So they've obviously got the tyre pressures right now after that first 49, the first 49, 902. Winward Racing, Gabriele Piana. Wow, what a lap.
So they're putting in some absolute stellar times. This bunch, they've just gone, look, the last bit bunch are okay, but we're way better. Call that fast, we're going to bung a second and a half off it. So yeah, 149.9. So is Winward from TFT from Winward from WRT, as Dan Harper puts a 150.7. Jaden Kelly, he's about to bump up again because he's got a purple and then a green, so he's about to go faster than he was, and he's only got to find a couple of tenths to go up a position. That's Jaden Kelly, is a 74 of Optima Motorsport, the McLaren.
Didn't quite get that last sector together, had a bit of traffic from the Kelly Racing dynasty down under.
We heard from Ajit Kumar, and there's his teammate currently on the video stream. That's Kobe de Brucke in the Ajit Redant Racing Mercedes. Not sure what he's pinged up the field there. I can't see where he's gone to. So Kobe, they were quite near the bottom, and now they're not. He's up into 14th place with an average of 51. So he has done a 51. No, he's in average. Yeah, he's done a 51, but the average is 54.
Yeah. So yeah, as you said, we're seeing the discrepancies between the Session 1 drivers and the Session 2 drivers as the Pro-Ams and the Pros now get into the seat and start understanding the cars. The Pros quite clearly can get tyre temperature and getting the car right very quickly, and they may be able to save those tyres. Remember, they have to use these tyres and all the tyres they qualified on in the race. So making sure, Kobe really attacking.
It's interesting because I think a lot of the people getting the best results here, Phil, are doing slow, fast.
Yeah.
And certainly, for example, Dan Harper's doing a slow one. I think we've just seen a slightly slower one from Gabriele Piana as well. I mean, I think they are just trying to manage the tyre temperature. They're trying to get the best out of these in 5 laps because they have to use them again. They can't burn them and throw them away.
No.
Hub van Eindhoven's going very well for the number 10 Herbert Motorsport car. That, of course, is the same number as the car that won in Malaysia under the banner of Absolute Racing.
Yes.
The drivers will carry their points over. We're not sure about the team. We actually spoke to Alfred Renau, and he wasn't sure whether the points would carry over now. It's a different team.
Yeah.
So So
and we spoke to Peter yesterday.
He didn't know either. So I think, I mean, it's
I'll talk to Helen. She'll know.
Yeah, to be honest, yes, that's the best way of doing it. But yeah, I mean, I think the drivers do keep the points. So that's what really counts. I think they're not too bothered about the team victory when you're moving from team to team to get someone to support you and race with you.
So the Middle East Trophy, you have to compete at least 2 of the 3 races. So we already have quite a few cars that started in December at the Michelin 12 Hours of Malaysia, the beautiful Sepang circuit, and we also have a lot of cars that, especially in Dubai, only racing in that. So the cars that are going from here up to Dubai and raced in Malaysia will be able to drop 1 score, which is puts them in the box.
The Malaysia race was 12 hours, got points for 12-hour race, but it was a relatively smaller field than the other 2. So it was a place in many ways to go what you call pot hunting or point hunting, perhaps you should say. So if you went out to Malaysia as a team, you made a really strong decision as far as your overall chance of the championship, the Middle East Trophy. Yeah,
because we get lesser points for this race because it's under 10 hours. So the points change from 10 hour and obviously between 10 and 20 hours, and then the 24 races have the points for halfway. So you get 20 points if you're leading at the halfway, 40 points if you're leading at the event, which means effectively you get 60 points for that race.
Dan Arrow about to put in, well, if he doesn't hit traffic, and he's on the video street at the moment in the metallic blue and white with a Mercedes. He's got a fastest overall time and a personal best in the first 2 sectors, just finishing the last few corners of this very tricky infield section under the Whale Hotel. It's supposed to be Whale, isn't it?
He's got a few cars.
I don't know they're holding him up is the question, isn't it, really? And they may slightly be. He was on for a fastest lap overall after 2 sectors. Oh, no, they were holding him up. He slowed right down.
He backed out of it.
That's bad luck because he'd done 2 excellent sectors. He's in second anyway, so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it got very, very compact down there because 3 of those cars entered the pits. So he's going to try and give himself some space. So this is what they're doing. Obviously, they have quick lap. Then he's going around, going to try and find a gap. So his team manager will be watching the dancing ants go, okay, let these 3 go past, let them go, and then we can give you some space.
Thing is, you have to give yourself, what, 4 seconds?
Yeah, pretty much 4 or 5.
You might be quicker. And also, if they decide to go on a slower down lap, then it's even worse. I think you're right, Phil. He was caught by people slowing down for their end of the lap.
They were going into the pits, so yeah.
So Brendan Leach going well in the Lipert Motorsport Lamborghini. That's a very nice paint job. It's like it's not golf.
No,
it's a different tone of blue and a different tone of orange, reddy orange. But it's got that kind of overall golf feeling whilst being absolutely free of copyright issues.
True.
That's a 63 Lamborghini. Currently scored 4th overall. That's the aggregate of the 2 sessions so far. Dan Harper, WRT, is in 5th. It's Winwood from Winwood. It's Biana from Arrow. Mercedes AMG from Mercedes AMG. And it's Marvin Klein from TFT Racing. So it's a Mercedes AMG top 3. Well, Stuttgart will be celebrating.
As Joe said earlier on, Winwood Racing have been at the top for all of the practice sessions and everything. So they've got some pace in those AMGs. And it's Gabriel Piana, who is now pulled into the pits with just under 3 minutes to go. I think he's done what he needs to do.
He's done the 5 laps.
I expect Dan Arrow and Marvin Klein will follow them in. Stuart White into the pits in the 25 into Africa Racing by Dragon. 2 cars entered by Dragon Racing, based up at Dubai Autodrome.
Alfa Renault, I think, is gonna. He should have just pulled that one in. It wasn't going to do anything. Across the line now, it gives a very aggressive flash, which I think there's some levels of you shouldn't do that.
In this part of the world, that's actually not aggressive. Because he wasn't a millimetre behind you.
Right, so
that was 160 kilometres an hour.
That was just basically allowed. That's kind of not a problem whatsoever.
Okay, drivers, team managers to remind their drivers, no high beam in the pit lane, please. We've got delicate eyes. Joe's got delicate eyes.
He has. He's got to make it up. So Brendan Leach is on the video stream at the moment, and he's also setting the fastest time. I think he's been stymied by that black Porsche, but he had his 2 personal bests in Sector 1 and Sector 2. A personal best at this one could give him a little bit of a jump. Yeah, slowing down and going to the pit. Will he get a personal best for the race? He had a 150.7. He did, but it was only by 0.005 of a second in the end after losing that time in the last section. There's going to be some frustrated drivers sitting in the pits going, if only that's not fair, why are they in my way? Then again, that's most drivers are always moaning with things there. Dan Arrow there, circumnavigating the track there to, was that turn 9?
No, it was turn 6, 7. And he's purple in sector 1.
Coming towards the end of sector 2.
Yeah, he's about 3/10 behind
I
Gabriel.
This is 5. This is 6, 7. This is 9, isn't it?
9, yes.
9 here, and he hasn't gone quicker.
No, had some traffic just after the chicane, so I think that put an end to that. 1 minute to go in this second session, just a final session to come to wrap up qualifying here, the 6th running of the Michelin 6 Hours of Abu Dhabi.
Well, he's got a clear run to the end, but I'm not sure whether he'd lost a bit, as you absolutely rightly say, in that second sector.
Yeah.
So I wonder whether he's going to push it to the end and then took another. I suppose I don't know how much wear a slow down lap will do.
Well, he's only got 37 seconds, so he's got to do a flyer.
Well, he's going to do this. This is. I don't think he'll do another flyer at this point. I think this will be his final flyer. Comes across the line now, and it doesn't go any quicker. No. So that says to me, given the fact that sector 3 looked absolutely clear, that the tyres have gone, because that's when you need them most in that very technical section between turn 9 and then the turn 16. So you've got a right at 9, a 10, a right at 11, a tight right at 12, a tight left at 13, a tight left at 14, and quite a quick right at 15, and that kind of weird turn 16, which tightens up, it seems.
Yeah.
And they want to take as much curb as possible to the point where they're not allowed to anymore. But there's a huge amount of turning over that last, well, it's not even the last third, it's probably the last fifth of the track as far as distance is concerned.
Yes, it's the most technical part of the circuit, and you need to have your balance right there, especially on those right-handers, the coming into the hotel, the 10, 11 and 12. A lot of pressure on the left-hand tyres through there, and they're pretty much flat out there in 5th or 6th gear, and then down a second for turn 12.
So this session has ended, and also there's no one out there, possibly Alpha now, but no, not really, who's setting a particularly quick time. So I think they're all going to pull the cars in.
Everybody's done 6 or 7 laps, apart from Winwood Racing, Gabriel Piana in the 81 car. He's only done 5, and either as Hubben and Chovan in the Herbert Motorsport Porsche, 5 there as well. Everybody else is in the 6 and 7s. So maybe they're working out, especially as you said, that they're doing an out lap, they're doing a push lap, then a cool down lap, another push lap, another cool down lap, and another push lap, just to see where they get to. Obviously, also they're gaining data for the race tomorrow on what these tyres are going to do.
Well, that's, yeah, I mean, they are racing this time of the day.
Exactly.
Perhaps not with these fuel levels, though, of course.
No. But they may be in these fuel levels as they're coming towards an end of a stint.
It's the car that was described by John earlier as the Man City colours, number 2, and I can see what he means. Obviously, it was Man City. They'd have bought all the other cars to make sure they won.
Exactly. Alex.
And of course, they are in their hometown. Of course, it's Man City's owned by Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, it
and
is.
We are here now, obviously with the right near the home of Etihad, and of course the Etihad Arena for Man City. So,
Alex Bacanta at the wheel, local driver here, Golf Radical Cup champion, who competes in LMP3 in the Asia Le Mans Series, competed in Europe as well. Multiple Radical champion. Drives
incredibly slow section 2 for Dan Arrow in the Women Racing, even for a slow down lap. He did a 1:9.
Did he have an oops?
Well, no, I mean, he shouldn't have done, because his first sector he wasn't trying. He was on a 27.
15 seconds slower than normal.
Anybody, yeah.
He's 1 second.
20 seconds slower, actually, than anybody, but it's easy to slow down lap as he trundles around the 16, but I don't know whether there's any particular issue involved in it. It doesn't appear to be declared to stop, but he's actually declared as being in the pit, so... do not know is the answer to that question, but that's a 16 win of Dan Arrow. It was the in lap, so if it's just a conservative in lap, I mean, there's a possibility that he's run 7 laps. Now, have they got an issue where they have not got a lot of fuel for driver 3?
Well, that could be it.
You know, if he's going to go on the tick over and save as much fuel as possible, because he's done 7 laps, and the others done 4 or 5 or 6. So has Dan given it a lap too much, and now he's right back on the older liquid gold to make sure, because don't forget they fuel up at the start of qualifying, and that's the amount of fuel they carry for all 3 sessions. Yes, these days you get a new set of tyres for every driver, but it's still the same situation where you can't refuel.
Yeah, it's we've got a couple of penalties. Car 7 and 16, car 16 and car 14. Thierry Vermeulen in the 14 car has earned more than racing. Turn 3 for them. Car 2's just getting done for turn 1 as well. But I think it may have been getting out of the way of faster cars, possibly on cool-down laps, because they're all coming in now just before the session ended.
So, the 88 Ferrari, and that has James Stanley. But more importantly for the Dragon Racing driver, he gets to talk to Joe Bradley.
Well, many times, Jamie, here we are in the midst of a qualifying session. But I want to ask you first, what sort of a 6-hour motor race do you think is in store?
I think it's going to be very, very difficult to predict what's going to happen. There's a lot of cars out there. It's very busy. You said it's a lot, but I feel like I'm getting older and... yeah, I hate to think how many times we've been here and stood here in the pit lane.
Yeah, exactly. Tell us about that session there. I think your car is currently 11th. That's good. It's going forward.
Yeah, really strong. You know, obviously we've come out here this winter with Dragon, both Oscar and Laurent, trying to get extra seat mileage over the winter, and they brought me and Matt along to help them. So it's all been about those guys, and now me and Matt get to have a go on some low fuel and new tyres and see what we can do with it.
What's happening in the debrief? Have you guys focused on qualifying, or has it been more about the chat being more about race pace?
Qualifying's obviously important, but it's more about staying out of trouble in these races. So we've been trying to make sure we get both bronzes up to a level where they're competitive, and we think we're somewhere near that. So, you know, we've set up for the 6-hour, not for the 15-minute quali.
We've had a lot of track time, which is great, certainly for you drivers. How have you found traffic here at Yas?
It might have been great for you guys, but I was hoping to be by the pool a bit more. But no, it's busy out there. You know, everyone's been, you know, really courteous. Everyone's been mostly well behaved, so you know it's been fine. It's, you know, it's what makes Creventic so special. This mixed multi-class racing. You know, it's why it's such a good championship for everyone to come and get involved in.
You know it's going to change when the green flag flies or the red lights go out. You know it's going to be different tomorrow.
3, 2, 1, charge!
Exactly. I have a feeling it's going to be a 6-hour sprint. Would you concur, or what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, if you look at any sort of modern day endurance racing, the days of me and Matt were talking about this actually last night. Gone are the days of mechanical sympathy and nursing the thing. All endurance races are just a green checker sprint now with a pit stop in the middle.
Really? Tyres, do you think, how much of a factor are they going to be? I mean, yeah, we're going to race into the night, and it's a bit cooler on an evening, isn't it? So that's going to help, surely.
Yeah, obviously they're black and round, and they don't like the heat so much here in the desert. So it's a tale of two halves. You either set the car to be good under the sun or under the lights. We think we've got a nice balance either way.
Final qualifying just about to get away. I'll ask you before you go, Jamie, what's the plans with you and your drivers going forward in 2026?
Basically, the biggest plan right now is drive fast, don't crash. And obviously into this year, we'll see what they all want to do, but they've obviously got lots of exciting plans.
Dubai next week?
And maybe not.
All right, still in talk, still in negotiation.
We've got to go home either way in between.
All right, I see. I know how this business works, mate. Good luck with that. Thanks, Jimmy Stanley.
So the third and final session of GTC qualifying is already underway, a minute and a half underway. It is the top 5 are covered by 4/10 of a second, which causes 8/10 if you need to improve. But the actual second, third, fourth and fifth are covered by about 1,800. So there's a huge chance of movement around that second, third, fourth and fifth. The Winward Racing team with their 81 car do have a little bit of an advantage at the moment.
Yeah, it's so close. It is absolutely so close, and we're going to see the pros out in this one. Matt Griffin has jumped into the 88 that Jamie got out of. Well, you know, we know what he's like, but got Jamie Day out there in the El Bamba Motorsport. Now he's an Aston Martin driver, factory driver for Aston Martin, competed with them in the 24-hour last year. He's with El Bamba Motorsport in the Mercedes AMG this time around, and it's great to see a local driver who started his karting career here in Dubai. Son,
I'm hoping it was a road taxis.
Well, it was both.
It always is, isn't it?
Yeah, son of Kevin Day, who manages XL Motorsport here in the Middle East. Massive F4 teams coming out of there and karting teams. So great to see Jamie here this weekend.
Also, those of you who recognise names, we've got Parker Thompson in the Team WRT BMW, looking to move that up from 5th place. But Interesting, there's kind of a bit of a split. We haven't seen either of the two Winwards out yet. We haven't seen either the two Herbeths. So the top of the 4 of the top 7 are just holding back a little bit, which I'm not sure about, because I suppose they're deciding where. Perhaps they're deciding to be slow deliberately when they come out as an evil blocking idea.
Strategy among the pros, you wouldn't put it past any of them, because they're here to win. You know, all of them are here to win, and that's going to be pretty interesting once we get down to then. Wian Chin in the Optimum Motorsport McLaren number 39, currently down in 9th position, leading the AM category at this time with a 23.624 first sector. Wow.
Running quick.
Yeah.
But Joe's got something for us in the interim.
All the Herbeth cars are still on the apron. You can hear in the background that Seb's just firing up his camera now. I'm with the number 10 car. Now, this is the car that scored quite a chunk of points at Malaysia. However, they were running under the team name of Absolute Racing, just being held. But we're a few minutes into this session. Now, the other two cars still on the jacks. Tyres just coming out for the 91 now. And they're not going to fulfill the full 15 minutes running. And this just sort of indicates to me that they're a bit concerned. Well, not concerned, but kind of circumspect, let's say, about tyre wear. Because these tyres, remember, that are going on these cars right now have to be used by someone in the race. And why put 15 minutes on them when you can put, I don't know, 7 or 8 minutes? That's
I have a contra statement on this one. I think they're worried about fuel.
I agree with Nick and Joe.
No, sit on that fence. I think they're worried about fuel. Also, I think they watched the previous session and saw a lot of people giving up. So they're thinking, well, if rather than trying to fight out during the first 10 minutes of the session, we'll try and go fast during the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And in fact, we have only got 10 minutes and 2 seconds to go. I think they've left the pits. The 91 hasn't. The 10 has left the pits. And as have the two women racing cars as well. So the only car that's not started from the front of the grid at the moment is that 91 Herbert's machine.
Yep, maybe Continental Racing by Simpson, another local team, the 69 and the 25 Dragon Racing, not out yet. 269 Herbeth Motorsport, not out yet. And that is it, as just under 10 minutes to go in this session. I saw a few interesting names up there. One, Maro Engel. He's got a bit of form.
There's a few people with a bit of form. Harry King has got a lot of form. The young man is with Alabama Motorsport, obviously with the Porsche, because he's now obviously completely in the Porsche family. He had the fastest time for a second, the 150.8, but that's been completely usurped by the Team WRT. Parker Thompson, I told you to watch him, with a 150.452. So he's now got that WRT team. No, he hasn't. I hadn't finished the sentence before. Benjamin Pack in the TFT Racing Mercedes been pinged back, got the fastest lap with a 149.9, which is the second 49 we've seen. And we've got a car that's spun, which is the it's certainly the Scuderia Praha. Is it Joseph Kral in the car or not?
Let me have a look at that.
Just trying to see if I can find the Scuderia Praha on the
end of
side. It is Joseph Kral who spun it. The very experienced former GP2 driver. But yeah, so that's as he came. He went at a very fast pace. Where's that?
That's turn 3 and 4.
Wow.
He's come out over the top. He's taken the bollard out. That's down near by the race and drive school.
Wow.
Wow, that's a big lose. That's very fast.
Not done his tyres any good. And he's got to run those things later.
Well, you
can force majeure change once you flat spot him.
Yeah, but wow. That was a big lose across the top there. Cold tyres just would have lost the back end coming over the top of the brow at turn 3.
You don't know how cold they were, because he'd already done a flying lap.
Yeah.
So he's done a flying lap, and he's done 2 laps. They should be somewhere near or thereabouts.
That's where the gravel is across the road.
Yeah, that's the other reason, of course.
Yeah.
But I think, I'll be honest with you, if you said, who do you think is going to have a massive spin, I would not have put down Joseph Kral as one of the people that's going to happen to. Luckily, he did that whilst things were calming down.
Yes.
But it is still Benjamin Packham TFT Racing from WRT from Nicholas Starty, in the Life of Motorsport. We don't have times yet from Winwood. And we don't have times yet from Herbeth, so that they'll be pinging up at some point.
Yeah, and there are little battle packs forming all around the 5.28
2.8 kilometres and 16 corners around here, you're going to have to pick your spot. You're going to have to pick where you need to be. Also, getting a draft down the straight from somebody going really quick can help you as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't then get any aero wash being too close behind on the twisty bits.
Yeah. And we have a red flag. Wow.
Oh, dear.
Now, this is interesting because a lot of cars haven't set lap times as this. We've got 6:55 to go. The clock is going to stop very, very shortly. At the stop 7:09, the clock has stopped at, and we've got the bollard that he took out. I saw that bounce across the road.
Right.
And that is on now down at the exit of the Race and Drive School Experience Centre, and he's taken that out. It was right up the very top there, so he's given that a big thumb, and I think it's been hit by other cars out there, and we can't leave that out there because it's right on the entry line to turn number 5. So we're going to get everybody back to the pits, and one of our brilliant marshals will see that. But have a look at this. He came through back at turn 3 absolutely backwards. Wow. And the bollard was already in the middle of the road there, so somebody else may have hit that. I'm not going to put that down to Joseph.
Yeah, well, who knows?
He took
now, that is not great news for Winwood. They will have enough time to do something about it. 7 minutes and 9 seconds. I don't think neither the Winwood cars have scored have put in an actual lap that counts, and Marvin Dienst needs to abandon the lap where he was green in the first sector and purple in the second sector.
Yes. Oh boy. And he's going to have to do a cycle of those tyres again because
get them back up to temperature. Yeah.
Well, they're all going down to queue down the end of pit lane because they know this bollard recovery won't take very long. We don't have a thank you to our marshals who are braving the freezing cold weather out there.
It is not freezing cold. Some of us live in Europe.
I don't.
It's slightly fresh at the best.
Yeah,
I think we should go to our pit lane correspondent to find out what is the actual ambient temperature out there. Joe, how warm are you? Oh.
And everybody in Europe's going to hate it. I'm still in shorts though, Nick. I've just put my Creventic pit reporter sweat.
Hang on, let me just see what the official temperature is at the moment. It's 20 degrees. It's 20 degrees out there.
Yes, but when it's been 27 all day, 20
and it's a wind blowing down pit lane, isn't there, Joe?
Well, yes. It's
no, it's
trying to help
you, very still. It's all right. Okay. You know what? It's probably perfect. These racing tyres are not going to be really stressed with the heat of the track because the track's going to be really cool, and it's perfect. The drivers aren't going to be too sweaty. What's coming through the vents is going to be pretty cool, cold air, and it's going to be very, very handy if you've got a bit of a sweat on, which, of course, you will have if you're out there driving a GT3 car around here, because it's, as we've just seen, some of the best. Didn't that just prove how on a knife edge these drivers are? Someone with the experience of Joseph Kral, former champion in this series, let's not forget, with Scuderia Praha, can lose it. That's how knife edge turn 3 is. It is really, really edgy.
Now, some of the drivers who haven't got a time and did the laps, I think they're going to start being a little bit concerned about fuel. Yeah. If they've done the fuel properly, as it should be, they've done 2/3 of a flying lap. They now need to do another warm-up lap and another. They're probably down to one fast lap, and that's it. And they aren't going to have the, even they could possibly do it with the time available. I don't think they're going to have the fuel to do too fast.
Oh, no, they're probably not. Now, 93 it just came into the pits, and 93 just came into the pits, and they had the wheel guns on that car, and they're allowed to rotate the tyres, but they cannot change them.
No.
Okay, so I'm not sure what happened there. Yes, Joe, sorry.
Joe's got a tactic.
So the 93, that's the Adjets Red Ant Racing Mercedes, came in as Joseph Kral just passes by. I'm going to check out those tyres. So he came in, took the tyres off, wrapped them in the heat blankets for, what? How long was I talking to you about?
A couple of minutes.
As we were talking, a couple of minutes. Then, after a couple of minutes, by the time I talked to you about the weather, the tyres are out the blankets and back on the car, and now the car's up to the.
I'm just going to have to get. I'm just going to have to look at the regulations.
I'll be honest with you, actually, Joe. I wasn't really listening to you. I was watching the long-legged bird on the camera. More
it's not.
No, it's the
70s, is it?
ornithological, absolutely. I think it's an egret, but I don't know. It's kind of a cross between an egret and a flamingo. A very small flamingo.
If you're watching on the YouTube stream on the 24-Age series, that's what the tunnel looks like. It's coming out of the pit lane. As they're all out, 6.5 minutes to go. We've got a few cars without times on the board.
And that is a worry, and they're all coming out. And obviously, I'm not sure how many people are going to not bother. Currently, Parker Thompson, Benjamin Pack, Nicholas Starty, who are 1, 2, and 3 overall.
Yep.
Wen Chen and Matthew Griffin, who are 5th and 6th. Matt Griffin, who are 5th and 6th. So 5 of the top 6 haven't bothered coming out. Now, my feeling is they're thinking, well, we're not going to get anywhere in the 2 or 3 laps you've got left.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and maybe the track isn't there for them.
The 69 Audi, and that is the Audi. Who's the 69 Audi? I've said that scene where the car number goes down. That's Alex Acker in the Continental Racing by Simpson car. That looks like a rhubarb and custard sweet. Absolutely painted in rhubarb and custard colours. If you're a fan of either the sweets, of course, the 1970s cartoon. That's the car you should support tomorrow, the 69 machine.
Well, we've got a Pro-Am car at the top of the leaderboard. That is something
surprising.
I didn't expect that at all. That's the TFT Racing and Benjamin Parker at the wheel.
But if either of the Winwood cars can put in a time, they have an edge at the moment over the TFT car, but they've got to be able to put the time in. They've got to find a bit of clear track. They've got to be perfect, and they've probably got enough fuel to do it once.
That's it. I'm just looking to see where the 669 car is, because that's one of the cars that's going to do that, the Team WRT and the Leipert Motorsport 63. The 63 just it's got some clear track. It's only got the 7
here are
in
the
front
4 drivers who haven't got a time. Marvin Dunst, a guy called Mauro Engel, some bloke called Robert Renauer, and Loke Hartog are the ones who haven't got a time. And I'm kind of thinking between them they could probably find one.
I think so. They'd have one in their history book somewhere.
They've got a time somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. As they're making their way around, Sven Muller's just starting to wind up now. The green first sector, just over 4 minutes remaining in this final session for GT3, who's going to be on pole position tomorrow as the race gets underway at 3 p.m. for the 6th running of the Michelin 6 Hours of Abu Dhabi.
If you've got fuel or you've got tyres, then you've got 2 laps to do it. Interestingly, a couple of the people who are not actually, so Benjamin Packer's left out, Nicholas Starty have also come out on the track. I don't think they got enough time to set a time, but obviously they just want to be on the track to cause consternation, I think, is what they're going for.
So Parker Thompson with 3:37 to go. I don't think they're coming out. I don't think Optimum's coming out with the 39 car with Wen Chen. And it looks like Jamie Day not coming out in 8th position at the moment with the Albamba Motorsport Mercedes AMG. It looks like they probably said that's our tyres done, or we don't have enough fuel to go and do that all again.
Or we're happy where we are, might be even.
Yeah, possibly as well, yeah.
You're near the front, that's fine for a 6-hour race. You don't want to be back at this field. You don't want to be qualifying 30th, that's for sure. 10 rows back, so 15 rows back.
Yeah, you can sort of manage that in a 24-hour race, but you can't in a 6-hour race. It's basically going to be a 6-hour sprint for the GT3 cars. You know, the 24-hour race is 24 one-hour sprints for GT3.
Across the line comes the 13 of Christian Mansell from Team Motor Park, another Mercedes. And that was his best lap, a 151.2. Sven Muller's on 150.6.
And Marvin Dienst has gone fastest, 23.022 in the first sector for Winwood Racing.
50 so Sven Muller's get the 269, the third of the Herberth cars. That's come up to 10th overall. His individual time is very strong, but obviously he is a third of the overall event. Axel Jeffries has pulled the 25 Dragon Racing team up with a 151.8.
Another purple sector for Marvin Dienst, and we would have 45.428.
So Marvin in the, but then Marvin now has got traffic ahead of him as he comes around that 3rd sector.
Yeah.
And it's all possibly going to go away.
Yeah.
No, he's nipped past. That's cost him time, but he has got past in the 81 Winwood car, black and what was it, turquoise? We'd say the 81. You going to go turquoise? So
teal, I think.
Teal's even better. Oh, there's a man who's been on a paint chart in his life, and he lost half a second, but still gained a third of a second. That makes sense, and goes to the top of the timing sheet.
Yes.
Even though he's 3 or 4 tenths off what he could have done with that blockage, but he has got a 1:49.6. That's the fastest lap we've seen from anybody, and puts the Women Racing team to the top of the timing sheet. He's now joined by his teammate Mauro Engel with a 1:40.8. He is behind by about 1:49.8. He is behind by about 2/10 of a second. So you need to find, if he can be bothered, you need to find 4/10. I'm not quite sure what's happening down in the world of Herberth. Loke Hartog has pinged the thing up to fourth. Hartog's got to fourth.
It's just moved there. They've got past the WRT car.
Yeah. It didn't come out, and the man in the middle is the leading Pro-Am. That's a TFT Racing Mercedes of Benjamin Packett. So 1, 2, 3 Mercedes at the moment, then Porsche, BMW, Lamborghini, and McLaren. So a good mix of chassis out of that top 3.
And Audi as well in 9th. So you've got pretty much everything in the top 10.
Well, that's true. Yeah, apart from Ferrari.
Yeah.
And there's more shuffling going on there. As you've got a good time in from. So Robert Renau gets the car 150.7 with the Pro-Am car into 8th. 150.9 for Azul More Than Racing into 9th.
Mauro's gone quick again in Sector 1. 20 seconds left on the clock.
Well, they're certainly, given the winners, have certainly decided they want to have a bit of a battle for first. He's going to need to find a lot of time.
Yeah, he's gone green in Sector 2.
He is quicker than Marvin Dietz. Dietz has lost half a second in that middle sector to this 16th of Engel, but Engel needs to find about 4/10. He needs to do a 1:49.4.
Yeah,
should do it.
He's
if
got
he
no
do 1:49.4.
He's got no traffic. He's got the 87 way up the road, so he's not going to get to that. So it's a clean run.
Now, don't forget, this third sector was where Dietz was held up, so there's a chance he can get up those 4 or 5 tenths in this last sector. I think this will be fastest lap of the session. Will it be enough? That's the question. Comes over 49.6. It's not the fastest lap of the session by about nothing.
Yes,
by
exactly.
a few thousandths. It does pull him right up behind Dietz, but Dietz keeps it. It's a win with 1-2. Marvin Dietz ahead of Mauro Engel. The difference on the average of the 3 drivers was 15 hundredths, so that means 45 hundredths in total across the 3 cars. In third place is Benjamin Packett, TFT Mercedes AMG, and then somebody else in a different chassis. It's a Porsche for Loic Hartog in 4th. Parker Thompson BMW in 5th, despite not going back out again after the red flag. And then it's the Lamborghini of Leipzig Motorsport in 6th, the McLaren of Optima Motorsport in 7th, and then we have a couple of Porsches. Robert Renau is 91, and Simon Birch is 14th for Herberth and Razoo More Than Racing. The top 10 is rounded out by Wei-Lan Chen of Optima Motorsport in the number 39 McLaren.
Yeah, some quality laps there. Probably a little bit of gnashing of teeth going on because of that red flag for the wayward bollard from turn 3 down to turn 5. But Winwood Racing got it done. Lockout of the front row. These are provisional placings only. Obviously, everyone's got to go in and be scrutineered, and they'll be looking at any track limits or any of the other things.
Or procedural issues with your driver change or tyres or anything else.
So, yeah, that'll all happen post this, and then we will be able to announce the grid for tomorrow's race,
which is looking very exciting. Let's see. I can't see any penalties come up recently. No, just a few track limits which would have lost the time immediately, wouldn't have shown up. The striking Wilbur Mercedes are currently locking out the front row. It's going to be a teal, which we've decided the colour is, and black front row for the 6th running of the Abu Dhabi 6 hours.
It almost matches the, it's very close to the Yas teal. It's a little bit lighter than the Yas teal.
So just for information, the race of Volderol gets underway at 2:30. Race starts at 3 local time, so that will be 11 o'clock in the UK or midday in mainland Europe. Other time zones are available.
Yeah. They'll be a very, very happy team after that little bit of a worry of going out late. You always going to have that issue. And there we go. Mauro Engel pulls up alongside his teammate. And with the Porsche pulling up behind. And
I think just opened the door on his teammate. It's like being badly parked at Tesco.
Yeah.
Someone runs their trolley into the car. You can see it now, can't you? He said, lean down and go, you scratched my car. He needs what he needs to do is put a little note on the windscreen, underneath the windscreen wiper, going and get with his details.
Indeed.
So let's have a quick word with our pole sitter and Joe Bradley.
Been congratulated by the Maro Engel out of the 16, who he just pipped to the pole position, but it is a Windward 1-2. Marvin, what a sight this is behind you. A Windward 1-2. That was always on the cards, I've got to say. You guys have been rapid all week.
Yeah, I mean, we've been here in December already, got a lot of driving time in, and yeah, it's been good fun. Team gave us a great car. It was a pleasure to drive, and happy to put it in 1-2.
You know what my next question is? Can this pace be maintained over 6 hours?
Sorry, again?
Can the pace be maintained over 6 hours?
It's going to be difficult, of course. It's a long race, as always, endurance. But Mercedes, the one thing that it's strong at is tire management over the long run. So, yeah, let's bring it home and hope for a good one.
We too. Well done, Marvin, and all the team as well. Windward Racing on the overall pole position for the 6 hours of Abu Dhabi.
Cracking 1-2 for Windward. Just to confirm the rest of we've done the top 10. 11th is Alex Arca in Continental Racing by Simpson Motorsport with the Audi. Then it's the Ferrari of Barron Motorsport in 12th, the Ferrari of Dragon Racing in 13th, the Porsche Origin powered by CC in 14th. The 269 Herbert Motorsport Porsche is in 15th. And then Christian Mansell in the Mercedes of Team Motor Park in 16th. Axel Jeffries of Into Africa Racing by Dragon on their Ferrari. Enzo Fernando Fulgenzi of Enrico Fulgenzi Racing in the Porsche in 18th. And it's the two Earl Barron Motorsport cars, the Mercedes of Jamie Allen Day in 19th and Harry King in the Porsche are your top 20.
Yeah, let's have a look at the highlights of that fantastic GT3 qualifying session. What amazing sights around this circuit. And we first come out with the Scuderia Praha Ferrari having loose bodywork and just trying to find your place on the track as the 87 gets a little bit off circuit. A little bit of comedy in the pit lane. Well, with Joe's down there, there's always comedy in the pit lane. And then looking at that late red flag really put the Windward Racing team under pressure. Boy, didn't they come to the top. And that bollard caused all of the issues. And then it was basically, you got 7 minutes. What are you going to do? 30 cars on track, well, maybe 26. But it was the 81 that took it to the checkered flag and will be provisional pole for tomorrow's sixth running of the Abu Dhabi 6 hour, and we have a look at the Windward Racing, a 1-2 with TFT Racing in third, Herbert Motorsport fourth, Team WRT fifth, Leipert Motorsport sixth, Optimum Motorsport in seventh, Herbert in eighth, Razoon More Than Racing in ninth, and Optimum Motorsport rounding out the top 10. A lot of these teams 3 to 4 drivers each, but we saw them what they were doing. 11th, Continental Racing by Simpson Motorsport, the 69, Barron Motorsport in 12th, Dragon Racing, the 88 Dragon Racing in 13th, Origin powered by CC 14th, Herbert Motorsport, the 269 in 15th, Team Motor Park in 16th position, Into Africa Racing by Dragon in 17th, Enrico Fulgenzi Racing in 18th, and the two Alabama cars, Motorsport cars, 8 and 61, 19th and 20th respectively. Wow, it was I
think you peaked too soon there.
I did peak too soon. I couldn't work out if it was going to go absolutely flat out or not. SRT in the two-car 21st. Just a Red Ant Racing in 22nd. The win here, Origin Motorsport 23rd. Scuderia Praha in 24th. Miyazawa Racing in 25th. Hoffa Racing in 26th. Haas RT 27th. ARC Bratislava in 28th. Dynamic GT in 29th. And Car Collection Motorsport rounding out this massive 30-car GT3 field. Yeah, Nick, that was pretty epic.
I have one very important piece of information for those of you who saw the long-legged bird whilst Joe was talking. That is a crab plover. A crab plover. There we go. I'm getting a lot of ornithological advice from locals, and that was Ian McCarthy again. So thank you very much, everybody. It's going to be the race. I'm really, really looking forward to it. So it starts at we start at 2:30 local time. That's 3 o'clock for the actual off the rolling off lap. It's going to be pretty impressive. It's nothing. It's nice and no need to get up early if you're anywhere in Europe or if you're anywhere in the UAE.
European time, so that's going to be really good.
So we have 16 cars in 4 different classes, and only 30 of them in GT3.
Wow. Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic time. You'll be able to join us on the radio show network limit of channels on RS1 on the 24H series app or website, where you can get live timing and the YouTube feed, and all uninterrupted 6-hour race with about half an hour of a fantastic grid walk getting through these 60 cars. Once again, it's said, we said it's the largest racing grid that has been here at the Yas Marina circuit. Creventic should be very proud, and we're really, really happy to put this on. We look forward to your company tomorrow, live on air at 2:30 in the afternoon from us here in the Global Broadcast Centre. Bye for now.
Here starting at 1 o'clock this weekend.
5.3 kilometres, getting in for just over 3.5 miles.
Now we have a massive crowd here.
Biggest grids in GT3 and Porsche 992 Cup that we've ever seen. Historic numbers of cars. As the intensity is ramping up. As the green flag is in the air, and the Porsche straight away tries to get a gap. It's a long run on the top of the brow and down towards the first corner. Behind the Pure Racing and right there. On challenge. Side by side through the first corner. Manoeuvre. This is going to be a bit closer. It's only 16 seconds as he goes on to his last lap now.
Between their brand new machine, the M4 GT3 Evo.
Congratulations, you've got the car home, you've won the Dubai